My daily life in a TV series. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 826. A big expose of all the fellows in the hospital, medical center. Dr. Duncan. Under the guidance of Dr. Bailey, Mark Sloan finally found Adam. There was no other way. Now the suicide of an African-American intern next door was at the forefront. Being in a teaching hospital, he dared not provoke another group incident to further ferment. He could only hope that everything would be resolved. But the result was that his character was too bad and no one paid attention to him. A group of nurses who had relationships with him were determined to take the opportunity to mess with him. He had to admit defeat. I can help, but I just hope you don't mind my approach. Adam had also heard about this. After listening to Mark Sloan's shy story, he did not refuse, but just smiled and reminded him, as long as I can perform the operation now, I don't care what the method is. Mark Sloan said with a wry smile. Okay. Adam nodded and said, I see. Thank you. Seeing Adam so straightforward, Mark Sloan couldn't help but said, Dr. Bailey is right. I was wrong before. I could have been your friend from the beginning. It doesn't matter. Adam glanced at him and smiled. We are all colleagues. The most important thing is to treat diseases and save lives better on the basis of mutual respect. Sloan, your medical skills, meeting patients who really need it, and changing their lives are not much worse than saving lives. If you encounter rare cases in the future, you are welcome to come and participate at any time. Mark Sloan said sincerely. Sure. Adam would naturally not refuse. After Mark Sloan left, Adam called the most understanding nurse, said a few simple words, hung up the phone, and continued to do his own things, and a wave of movement soon swept the hospital. Mark Sloan soon received a notice that the collective boycott of nurses was cancelled. He could perform surgery again. This made him marvel at Adam's prestige and action. However, when he knew the specific persuasion process, the corners of his mouth twitched. A nurse who had a relationship with him suddenly gave a speech in the anti-Mark Sloan Nurses Union. In the speech, he was called a stick winner and a filthy bastard. Of course, after scolding him, the nurse changed her tone and said, although this guy is indeed like this, he has never concealed it. This is a well-known fact. We also knew it before we got involved with him. So let's not worry about why he didn't call us afterwards, or why he hooked up with other women. We clamp our own thighs, do our own work, and don't give him another chance. Then let him do his job as a top plastic surgeon. After all, this is what Dr. Duncan has always advocated. However, the development of the matter soon went beyond the control of Mark Sloan and the anti-Mark Sloan Nurses Union. Even if the nurses chose to let Mark Sloan go under Adam's influence, the alarmed hospital management could not easily pretend that this incident had not happened. The next day, what? This must be a joke. Are you kidding me? The administrative order from the hospital board conveyed by Chief Resident Kelly quickly made everyone who heard it shout. This is a compulsory measure taken by the board to prevent the Mark Sloan incident from happening again in the future. Chief Resident Kelly explained to everyone helplessly, any employee of the medical center who has an intimate relationship with other employees in the medical center must register. This is called sexual notification. Everyone must fill out the form within today, unless you want to be sued in the future. Otherwise, please be serious and detailed. In the corridor, everyone was talking. Meredith, this is your form. I took it for you, by the way. Adam ran into Meredith and handed the form in his hand to her. Thank you. What do you mean? Meredith thanked him first, but after taking it, she found something wrong, because Adam handed her 2 forms. Not enough? Then give you another one. Fortunately, I have prepared it in advance, otherwise I would have to go get it. Adam teased. Ha ha ha. Christina took a form, leaned on the wall of the corridor, and wrote Dr. Burke's name directly. After hearing Adam's words, she started laughing. Ha, 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 that's funny. Meredith looked at the two of them unhappily. Don't be embarrassed. Christina looked at her bestie seriously. It's normal that one form is not enough. The protagonist of our incident, Mark Sloan, took 3 forms. Meredith, Think about it carefully. Don't be anxious. Adam also joked on the side. Meredith didn't want to pay attention to Adam and the others anymore, so he turned around and left. Are you sure you only need to write Bianca? Christina peeked at Adam's form. Definitely and definitely. Adam laughed. He didn't believe that Alice Kidman would honestly register their encrypted messages. Although this would be the employee's private file, ordinary people would not have the right to retrieve and view it. But there are no secrets in the hospital, not to mention the staff responsible for registering and collecting archival materials. There are more than 1 or 2 hospital executives with authority. If you really want to know, there is always a way to know. And it is even more difficult to prohibit the spread of such gossip and scandals, not to mention others. Even Adam himself is very curious about what kind of intricate arrangement and combination relationship the fellow cultivators in the medical center have. Will it develop to the point where most people can be connected? What? Just as Adam and Christina were teasing each other, Dr. Bailey, who was not far away, suddenly confronted the chief resident Kelly, and Dr. Bailey's voice became sharp. Sorry, is there something wrong? Chief Resident Kelly looked around and asked awkwardly. What did the director say about me? Dr. Bailey said word by word, he said. Chief Resident Kelly looked at Dr. Bailey like this, and suddenly reacted, saying with an apologetic face, he just believes in you, Dr. Bailey, and he didn't mean to insult you. Oh, really? Dr. Bailey sneered. All employees in the hospital need to register in detail. The director specifically said that I, Miranda Bailey, don't need it, and he doesn't even want to see me holding the form. If it were you, Dr. Tallis, you would only think that this is the director respecting you, without any discrimination or insult. Chief Resident Kelly was speechless. She is also a woman. She understands Dr. Bailey's feelings. Dr. Bailey may indeed be the light of the hospital's righteousness. She disdains and will not do those messy things, but she is still a woman. This kind of registration of the whole hospital, but excluding her, more or less has a little meaning of Dr. Bailey is not charming enough and will not attract bees and butterflies. This is not very harmful to Dr. Bailey, who is facing divorce and has serious doubts about his own charm, but it is extremely insulting. P.S. Thanks to Zeke Kang Keang and Woody Ziazwan for the reward. Chapter 827 Friends Heirloom, Medical Center. The activity of exposing all the colleagues in the hospital is in full swing. This is not only a summary of the past hospital's Zayu, rest, Zion, leisure, colleagues, but also a prospect for the future. That's right, this activity will become the norm. In the future, whenever the employees in the hospital are in a good mood, they need to register for work meals in the hospital's wards, utility rooms, toilets, lounges, imaging scanning rooms, operating rooms, rooftops, conference rooms, offices, cafeterias, etc. Otherwise, if they are discovered, they will be reported at the least and fired at the worst. And if they are not registered, if Mark Sloan is sued for mental harassment again, the hospital will not come forward for them. Monica is in good health, and so is little Adam. Therefore, after completing a series of examinations, the 3 members of the Bing family left the hospital and returned to their happy little home. Adam was picked up and dropped off by car, because today is not only the day for the Bing family to be discharged from the hospital, but also the day for the Bing family to say goodbye to the apartment. Monica and Chandler, with little Adam, are going to a single-family house in the suburbs to live a happy and leisurely small-town life. This was a big thing Chandler accomplished during Monica's pregnancy. Monica's apartment. Old friends gathered. Why? When Adam and the other 3 arrived, Joey, who had been waiting here for a long time, asked a series of questions. Don't be like this, Joey, you know the reasons. Monica hugged little Adam, smiled helplessly, and then covered her mouth with her hand. Okay. Seeing this, Adam interrupted. Joey, don't make Monica cry. Why move away? There are too many reasons. I'll just mention one. Now that we have little Adam, he cries and cries all the time, which affects the neighbors next door. Not every neighbor is you, Joey, who can sing love songs with the big guy in the next building early in the morning. Normal people can't stand it. Hey, that's so beautiful, Joey said dissatisfiedly. Joey Tribuni's beautiful day depends on this. That's you, Everyone shouted in unison. The one who screamed the loudest was Rachel. She loved to have a beauty sleep and hated any noise that affected her sleep, because it affected her appearance. "But this is Monica's apartment," Joey shouted. "I can't bear to see you leave." "Why are you in such a hurry?" Adam complained. "Didn't you say that in 3 weeks, when Noelle gives birth to your daughter, you will marry her and hold a wedding with Phoebe and Michael? By then, you will have both a son and a daughter, and you will live with your wife and children in the apartment next door? Aren't you worried that there will be no place for the children's things? Don't you want your children to ride their little bikes outside the house with confidence, with a loyal dog by their side, playing happily without worrying about being hit by a car or attacked by a stray bullet? The most important thing is, aren't you worried that if you live in the apartment and meet a big sister like Phoebe as soon as you go out, you will be bullied to the point that you can't tell the difference between men and women and even regard girls as 8-foot-tall men? Worry." Joey glanced at Phoebe, who was laughing and smiling, and Ross, who was looking gloomy. He suddenly realized something and opened his arms to Chandler. "Chandler, I am leaving too. I will buy a house next door to you. We will still be door to door. Our children will have the best playmates in the future." "That's it," Adam said with a smile. "With your current income, it's easy to buy a house. I have asked Janice to reserve the house next door to Chandler for you. You can ask her to handle it." "Rachel, are you and Ross sure you don't want to live here?" Monica looked at Rachel and reminded. "Rent control is simply robbery." "No." Rachel leaned against Ross and smiled. "This is your apartment. Without you, it will be completely different, no matter how good it is. We don't want to live here." "Okay, don't be so sad," Adam said with a smile. "I won't come back with your keys. When you come to the city to do business in the future, you can stay here at any time." "Yeah." Everyone cheered and jumped for joy. "That's right." This apartment and the apartment opposite were renewed by Adam. Almost all the furnishings were left untouched. Adam asked Monica to buy new furniture for the new home. A new look. Adam didn't want these 2 apartments, which represented the youth and joy of his old friends, to disappear with the wind. How could Adam care about such a small amount of money? And yes, each of the 6 old friends had a key to this apartment. Everyone could push the door and enter at any time. It was possible, but sometimes they didn't have to take out the key to open the door. If Adam didn't renew the lease, Monica and the others would take out a key from their pockets and hand it over at the request of the apartment manager before leaving. "It seems like we all lived here before." After everyone cheered, Phoebe looked around the apartment and everyone and suddenly exclaimed, "Really?" Everyone nodded. "I didn't," Ross retorted. "You came to live with your grandmother during one summer vacation in college, and then thought about making money by dancing," Monica reminded kindly. Ross's face darkened, staring at his own sister, and complained, "You dig up old things." Haha. Everyone laughed. Who didn't have wild ideas when they were young? Who didn't feel extremely ashamed of some of their wild ideas in the past later? It's just that Ross has more wild ideas to be ashamed of. Whether it's wanting to be a professional dancer, a professional singer, or a cartoonist science kid, now when someone mentions it, Ross will be angry. "Adam, you don't have to do this." After laughing, Monica looked at Adam and said, "As long as everyone is here, any place can become a new source of happy memories for us. It doesn't matter." Adam said with a smile, "You said it before. The rent control here is robbery. If you don't rob people who have money, wouldn't that save money for the capitalists? And this place is full of your memories of 20 or 30 years, and also full of our memories of 10 years. It would be a pity to let it disappear like this. I will renew the lease and treat it as a gift to little Adam and little Emma. Think about it. When they grow up, they will definitely come to the city to work. Then they can live here just like you took over this place from your grandmother. It's a new reincarnation again. A happy reincarnation. How wonderful." "Oh Tilda." Everyone was moved. "But this will always end." Monica was moved and a little sad. "Indeed." Adam nodded and said, "But it's only because we didn't educate little Adam and little Emma well that they are not as kind and interesting as their parents. Otherwise, as long as they can repeat our days in these 2 apartments, these 2 apartments will continue to be happy homes." "Yeah." Everyone was moved by the smile of Adam's money-making godfather and nodded in unison. "That's right, as long as little Adam and little Emma can get the approval of their godfather in the future, let alone these 2 apartments, even this building can be preserved forever. Other people's heirlooms are all kinds of antique treasures. The heirlooms of my old friend's family are these 2 apartments, or this building, which is also fresh and interesting. Chapter 828, Crazy for Love. Bald head. Monica carried little Adam out of the hospital. Farewell to the apartment, heading to the new home in the suburbs. The joy of moving into a new house. All 3 things are worth celebrating. Adam made time to join everyone in the fun. Treating diseases, saving lives and increasing lifespan is indeed the first goal, but the purpose of increasing lifespan is to enjoy life. In the past, lifespan income and expenditure were unbalanced, and if you didn't work hard, you would die young. Adam could only focus more on increasing lifespan. Now that the planned medical career has been on the right track, lifespan has been steadily increasing, and there is no need to work as hard as before. Participate in the circle of friends activities that should be participated in, otherwise, what's the point of having this lifespan? Medical center. At the entrance of the emergency room, another big accident. Adam, Christina and a group of interns were waiting at the door, looking at the chief resident Kelly. It's not a big accident, there is only 1 patient. Chief resident Kelly shook her head and said, but I can guarantee that you have never seen such a big injury. Really? Christina's eyes lit up immediately. Oh, I'm 100% sure, Chief resident Kelly exclaimed. When the ambulance came, everyone immediately understood what she meant. Holy shit, Christina's intern exclaimed, but no one looked at him or glared at him, because everyone's eyes were shocked by the case in front of them. What's the situation? Adam stepped forward and asked the firefighters and paramedics. That's right, this time, not only were there paramedics following, but there was also a team of 4 firefighters accompanying him. The patient's trauma was indeed very serious, because he was wrapped in a pile of cement, except for his head, exposed palms, and 1 foot. The rest of his body parts were all buried in a huge pile of cement. You have to ask them for the specific situation. The captain of the firefighters gestured to the 3 boys and 1 girl who were following behind. They were just watching, laughing and playing, and they looked like they were watching the fun. Melendez, Gray, go ask for the details, Adam ordered, and then led everyone to the emergency room. Help me. Seeing the doctors were also stunned. The patient Owen was shocked and shouted in fear. We will. Adam comforted him and looked at the fire chief. How long has he been like this? It took us 3 hours to carefully blast him out of the cement. It seemed that his classmates called the police and delayed him for more than an hour, the fire chief said. More than an hour? When everyone heard this, their faces suddenly became wonderful. Children are really stupid and cruel, Christina complained. O'Malley, drop vinegar on Owen's burned skin, Adam ordered. Owen has been trapped in several tons of cement for more than 4 hours. The alkaline substances in the cement are corroding his body. Carter, give him water. The cement will continue to absorb the water in his body. Pay attention to the amount of water he takes in. Once the cement under his body is knocked open, be ready to insert a catheter to prevent the bladder from exploding. Dr. Torres, you will be responsible for Owen's limbs. We must act immediately. The cement is still shrinking. The body will be squeezed like this for a long time, which will produce a lot of toxins. Once we rescue him from the cement, the circulation will accelerate and the toxins will instantly invade the whole body. So we must be fast. Captain, bring the tools and listen to my orders later. Awaiting your instructions at any time. Doctor, the fire chief agreed. Adam nodded and quickly simulated the best solution for breaking the wall in his mind. Then he directed the fire chief and the firefighters to follow him and start knocking on the formed cement, constantly removing pieces of broken cement from the patient. Carter helped Owen rehydrate. George was dripping vinegar on the burn area to relieve the cement burn on the patient. Owen, what are you doing? The patient Owen swallowed his saliva and looked around at people hammering and moving cement. When he saw Kelly pouring disinfectant on his legs and showing a scalpel, he could no longer control himself and shouted in fear. I'm going to perform a fasciotomy. Kelly explained, reduce the pressure on your legs, otherwise you will lose your right leg. While talking, the disinfection was completed, and Kelly used a scalpel to cut Owen's thigh. Ding ding ding. A rhythmic knocking sound rang out in the ward. Under Adam's command, everyone performed their duties, striving to rescue Owen from the several tons of cement as quickly as possible. Half an hour later, the little guy and Lexi also came back. What? When the short guy and Lexi explained what happened, everyone exclaimed in surprise and looked at the frightened and embarrassed Owen. Did you jump in on your own initiative? Isn't that stupid? Owen said ashamedly. Actually, I wasn't like that before. I've always been an excellent student and a teaching assistant. I've never been the kind of fool who would jump into a cement tank. They made a fuss and said that I didn't dare to jump. I don't really care about their opinions. But she was watching from the side. She was watching from the side. So you jumped for the girl, Christina complained. It's not surprising at all. Are you sure you are an excellent student and a teaching assistant? Which school are you from? Dr. Yang. Adam glared at her. I know I'm too stupid, Owen said painfully. Now she is not only indifferent, but also treats me as a fool. Even if I die, I will no longer be the boy who almost kissed her, but will only be a big fool who jumped into a cement vat and died as a cement sculpture. Don't be so negative, Adam comforted. As long as you survive, you won't be. While speaking, he glanced at Lexi. Lexi immediately understood and shook her head with a sigh. She knew what Adam meant. When she asked Owen's classmates just now, she also talked to the girl alone. It can be seen that although the girl acted indifferent like the other three boys and followed in the jokes, her eyes still revealed her concern for Owen. After Lexi pointed it out, she did not deny it. Lexi suggested that she go over to accompany Owen and give him courage. The three boys sitting there waiting obviously also heard Lexi's persuasion, in that exaggerated imitation. Oh, Lola, please hold my hand. I need you. She glanced at the three male friends behind her and refused without hesitation. Lexi persuaded her again and again, but she was unmoved and her attitude was very firm. Obviously in her eyes, the ambiguity and affection and concern with Owen were not as good as a ridicule from her friends. This is cruel, but it is extremely realistic. Adam and the others abandoned the girl who was the root of the incident and helped Owen to encourage and strengthen his will to survive. The fantasy began to focus all their attention on rescuing Owen. Over there, the hospital staff also began to call Owen's family according to the procedure. Owen's parents called but no one answered. When the call reached Owen's brother, the phone rang for a while. Just as the nurse was about to hang up, a very attractive male voice came from the other end. What's the matter? Is it Mr. Deckard Shaw? The nurse, like most Americans, has an unusual love for the British accent. Therefore, when she heard the pure British accent on the other side, her attitude automatically rose from treating P to VIP, and she told the situation again. I'll be there right away. On the other end of the phone, Owen's brother was silent for a moment, said something, and hung up the phone directly. P.S. Thank you book friends 201804211216544160. Roger Rotfast, and Flying Wolf for the rewards. I will rush back today and start updating normally tomorrow. I will try to update a few more chapters next week. Forgive me, if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 829 My Stupid Brother. 10 hours later, medical center. A car stopped at the door. The door opened, and a bald man with sunglasses got out of the car. He took off his sunglasses and put them in his pocket, looked around the hospital, and walked in. I'm looking for Owen Shaw. The bald man with sunglasses walked to the nurse station and said indifferently, he is undergoing surgery. The nurse immediately looked at him and explained, Operating Room 3. The name of the cement boy had long been known throughout the hospital. Thank you. The bald man nodded and went to the operating room. What a cool accent. He must be the cement boy's brother. Yes, he is cool. Look at his determined and fearless eyes. He is so manly. It's a pity that he is bald. It would be better if he was bald. Huh? You are too young. You don't know the benefits of bald men. What benefits? I heard that they like to think about things in bed, so they are bald. PFFT, is it true? Of course it's true. I have a friend who likes this type. She has also summed up her experience. If you want to find a boyfriend like this, it's best to have one who is not bald yet. Just make it up. I heard that scholars like to think about things in bed. No problem. Bald scholars. Have you seen Dr. Duncan's father? A group of nurses immediately gossiped. Operating room 3. Adam led people to rescue Owen from several tons of cement. When the last large piece of cement slab was removed, the circulation in Owen's body suddenly accelerated, sweeping the toxins throughout his body, and he went into shock instantly. Fortunately, Adam was well prepared and successfully rescued him, and then sent him directly to the operating room. After more than 10 hours of surgery, Owen was successfully rescued. As soon as he came out of the operating room, he saw the cold bald man. Adam's eyes immediately shrank. "Doctor, how is he?" The bald man looked at Adam. "Who are you?" Adam asked. He was very familiar with the face in front of him, but he didn't know his identity. A mechanic, a human trafficker, or something else. "Owen's brother," Deckard Shaw explained and repeated again. "How is he?" He is out of danger. You can go to see him later. Adam introduced the situation. Bald Deckard nodded and said nothing. "O'Malley, take Mr. Shaw to the ward." Adam assigned George to be in charge. Although he liked this person's movies in his previous life, to be honest, no matter what his identity is, he is both good and evil. From the perspective of movie appreciation, both good and evil are full of positive charm. But if you really live in this world and encounter such a being that is both good and evil, it is better to treat it as an evil character as much as possible, which is more prudent, because Adam does not want to be part of the dark side of such a being that is not shown in the movie. In the ward, people say that if you want to see the future, look back at the past. I used to think that was bullshit. Bald Dyke stood in front of the glass window, looking at the tall buildings and the busy traffic outside. He sighed, turned around, walked to the bedside of Owen who had not yet woken up, and looked at him. "Now I understand that the past cannot be escaped. My stupid brother, when we were young, you always picked the most powerful kids to fight, but in the end, it was always me who came forward to solve them. You stole things from the store on the corner. In the end, it was always me who was beaten by my father. Later, you went to school and made great progress, becoming the best student in the school. I understand that as a typical second child in the family, you have no sense of existence, and you have always been very concerned about the closeness between Heidi and me. But this is not a problem between Heidi and me. When we were playing Keith Moon, a violent explosion that can cause permanent ear damage, you didn't want to play with us and thought we were crazy. Heidi and I went to military academies to learn more advanced and professional violent methods. You felt that you could never compare with us in this line of work, so you gave up the immature and cowardly violent means you used when you were a child, became a good student, and wanted to surpass us in another way. We all understand. We support you in our hearts. Whatever you do, you will achieve the same extraordinary results. We thought you could become smarter, stronger, and better, but I never thought that you would become like this now. For a girl, in order to let the girl know that you have courage, you are so stupid that you jump directly into the cement tank, just because others make you afraid. In the past, you must have punched them directly, or kicked them into the cement tank one by one. Although you can't surpass me and Heidi in the professional field of violence, at least you won't become a complete fool. And you almost didn't even have the opportunity to help you clean up your ass. How can I tell my mother then? It doesn't matter if you die, but you shouldn't die in this way. You are tarnishing the reputation of our family and making my proud mother sad. I can't accept this. So you have no chance to choose your own track. Such a weak you needs iron-blooded correction. I will help you arrange it after you wake up. We don't ask you to be outstanding, but don't die a joke. At this point, Bald Dyke reached out and held his brother Owen's hand, his eyes cold and firm. "But no matter what, you are still my brother. Your business is my business. Have a good rest. I will continue to teach you how to be a man." George O'Malley next to him turned pale when he heard it. No matter how stupid he was, he knew that the bald man in front of him was an extraordinary violent person. "Take good care of my brother. If he has any problems, I will come back to settle accounts with you." Bald Dyke stood up and glanced at George. Yes, George said in a trembling voice. Is that Dr. Duncan very powerful? Bald Dyke took out sunglasses from his pocket, wiped them with a glasses cloth, and asked. Well, George didn't dare to say more. Notify him to stay in the hospital tonight. Bald Dyke wiped his sunglasses, put them on his face, and said coldly, 4 patients will come in a while. I hope he can do a good job of rescuing them. It would be best if none of them died. After that, without waiting for George to answer, he walked out of the ward. After Bald Dyke left, George walked out of the ward with weak legs and supported the wall, and notified the nurse to call Adam. After Adam came over, George told him what happened. Damn it, Adam cursed inwardly. Sure enough, a character who is both good and evil is absolutely evil to those who really live around him. Otherwise, how can there be a positive character who threatens the medical staff who save his brother? O'Malley, you don't have to take care of him anymore. Seeing George so cowardly, Adam was worried that something bad might happen, so he ordered, call Melendez and ask him to take care of Owen. I'll go with him, George said with a bitter face. His brother told me to do that. I'm afraid that when he comes and I'm not here, he will cause trouble for me. Okay, Adam nodded and comforted, just take care of him as usual. If there is any problem, I will explain it to his brother and won't let him vent his anger on you. Don't worry. Okay, Dr. Duncan, where are you going? George breathed a sigh of relief first, then when he saw Adam leave, he immediately shouted, I'm going to the emergency room. Adam sighed. Those 4 cruel high school students will probably know what is really cruel. Peas. The rest will be updated later. Chapter 830. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Medical center. Emergency room. Okay, got it. Chief Resident Kelly hung up the phone with a look of shock on her face. She said to Adam, who was looking over, it's unbelievable. After that, she began to notify the chief of surgery to mobilize all the staff that could be mobilized. Adam had very good hearing. When he heard the news on the phone, he naturally knew what she was shocked about. It was a call from the emergency rescue center. Soon, 4 injured people with the same case will be sent to the medical center. The medical center must be prepared for first aid. The injuries of these 4 people are exactly the same as those of Owen Shaw, the cement boy who was sent to the medical center before. It can be called the new cement F4 combination. The whole medical center was shocked when it heard the news. The chief of surgery summoned all the staff and got ready. Dr. Duncan, you should save the most seriously injured first, the chief of surgery said with his hands on his waist. By the way, while there are still people coming, you should introduce to everyone the skills and details that need to be paid attention to during the rescue process, so that everyone can rescue later. Okay, Adam nodded and began to share with everyone some skills to rescue the injured from the cement pile. Everyone listened very carefully, because they had never encountered such a thing before. When they first encountered it, they were really confused. Now that Adam shared his successful experience, they certainly would not miss it. And they had also heard about George O'Malley's message, which was funny and lively before. Now suddenly they knew that the 4 cruel high school students who caused Owen Shaw to become a cement boy soon became the shape. They laughed at themselves, thinking of George O'Malley's message that Owen's brother asked them to take good care of Owen and try their best to ensure that the 4 high school students did not die. They felt cold behind their backs and were extremely nervous. Fortunately, they saw Adam standing in front and introducing the situation slowly, and then they felt a little relieved and had a little confidence. It turns out that with Dr. Duncan, the security level of the medical center is still trustworthy. Just as Adam was sharing his experience, 4 ambulances came roaring in. Adam, you are responsible for the most seriously injured. Burke, you are responsible for the second most seriously injured. Green, you are responsible for the third most seriously injured. The chief of surgery quickly said, I will be responsible for the last one. Everyone cheer up and make sure to save all the injured. If there is an emergency, consult Dr. Duncan immediately. Do you understand? Understood. Damn. 4 working groups, 20 to 30 people, agreed in unison. For this kind of injury, cardiothoracic surgeons are the main force. Adam is experienced and has the best emergency treatment skills in the hospital. He only has Carter and Lexi with him. Dr. Burke is the chief of cardiothoracic surgery, with Christina and her 4 interns. Dr. Green is a cardiothoracic surgeon, with Dr. Bailey and Dr. Xney, the most skilled residents in the hospital except Adam, the chief of surgery, with Meredith and her 4 interns. Chief resident orthopedic surgeon Kelly, with orthopedic surgeons, supported 4 working groups to deal with limb bones. Plastic surgeon Mark Sloan, with plastic surgeons, supported 4 working groups to deal with burns. Dr. Shept, with neurosurgeons, supported 4 working groups to deal with possible brain damage and to help at any time. Almost all the elites of the entire major surgery department were mobilized. Even the psychiatrists came down, ready to appease the possible mental breakdown. I was laughing at others the previous second, and I experienced it the next second. Only then did I understand the infinite cruelty and infinite horror here. How could a few high school students withstand it? Mental breakdown is almost predictable. Help me quickly. I don't want to die. Woo woo woo. 4 large human-shaped cement balls appeared in front of everyone. Listening to the 4 high school students who were wailing and crying wildly with their faces exposed, even though everyone had expected it, they still took a breath. What is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth? This is it. Compared to killing them, this punishment is definitely more cruel. Let's not talk about the torture they suffered before being thrown into the cement tank. Let's not talk about the fear they felt when they were thrown into the cement tank. After they were thrown in, they had the experience of being onlookers and knew the danger. Therefore, they were more afraid than Owen Shaw, who jumped in. And if we count the time, it has been just over 4 hours since Owen's brother Bald Dyke left the hospital. In other words, they were probably watched for an hour before being blown out of the cement pile. Compared with their wanton ridicule, Bald Dyke's cold and ruthless eyes obviously aggravated this fear. After 4 hours of torture, they still have to face the test of life and death. Whether they can be rescued depends on luck. Death is terrible. Life is worse than death, and the struggle between life and death is even more terrible. Cruel, too cruel. Action. The chief of surgery shouted immediately after being shocked. Adam took Carter and Lexi to take a high school boy with the most serious injuries to the emergency room. The other 3 groups also took over a cement boy and girl. Compared to the boys' screams and wails for help, Lola, the girl who was secretly in love with Owen and also had a crush on him, was sobbing and crying the whole time, with despair and regret in her eyes. If she knew that Owen had such a cruel older brother, she would never get close to Owen, nor would she let Owen get close. If she knew in advance, she would not let other friends make a fuss, and for an hour, she ignored Owen's cries for help and watched Owen solidify into a ball of cement in the cement tank. It's too late to say anything now. She didn't even expect her to be rescued, because she had seen Owen's injuries. That kind of burn was too cruel for a girl who claimed to be born beautiful and could not give up. No. In the ward, Owen, who had already woken up, was answering a call from his older brother, Bald Dyke. After learning that his older brother really did such a thing, he made a cry of unwillingness to accept it. That's Lola. How dare you? Don't be childish, Bald Dyke said indifferently on the other end of the phone. What am I afraid of? What's the use of that kind of woman? If you really can't accept the revenge I have completed for you, you are welcome to come to me for revenge at any time. But the premise is that you have the ability. So now you have to rest well, and then when you are well, go to the place where Heidi and I have studied and practice all your skills. Then come to me again, knock me down, step on my face and say this to me. Don't be so loud, but also have the volume and weight you are shouting now. Before that, what you said was nothing but incompetent rage. At this point, Bald Dyke changed the subject. Okay, I have finished explaining to my stupid brother, and now I can talk to you. I don't want anyone to cause trouble for my brother. Take good care of him, otherwise I will come to you. Dyke Shaw, you are too arrogant. Kate, who had arrived long ago, took the phone and said to the other end, this is the United States, not England. Is there any difference? Bald Dyke said calmly. This kind of thing is not something UNITED can interfere with. Kate paused. She knew that Bald Dyke was from the British Special Department. It was indeed not something the UNITED could handle if this kind of person broke the law, because even if she tried her best and finally brought him to justice, he would be released directly by the special departments of the two countries who were like father and son to each other through various insider trading. The law is a joke to these people. P.S. Thank you for the reward for the plane travel. I'm going back to my hometown. I have to take it slow when I come back. There are only 2 chapters today. I have to go to work tomorrow. I have to code 2 chapters for tomorrow's noon. I will stay up late to update 4 chapters for a few days starting tomorrow. Please forgive me. Chapter 831 Love and Hate Medical Center. The call was hung up by Bald Dyke. Kate put down the phone helplessly and continued to question Owen. Even though she knew it was useless, she wanted to learn more about Bald Dyke in advance. If someone really wanted to bring him to justice one day, these are all real evidences, and there is no need to fabricate them. This is also her obsession. Yes is yes, no is no. The law is not a piece of plasticine, which can only be fabricated by everyone and turned into any shape in the hands of the manipulator of the law. If someone insists, the law has a chance of being fair and hard. Detective Beckett, Owen needs to rest. George stood aside and couldn't help but remind him. Owen has such a cruel brother, and the other party's warnings and reminders are still ringing in his ears. He dare not ignore it. Okay. Kate glanced at the pitiful George and nodded. You take good care of him. Then she walked out of the ward. She wanted to see the situation of the 4 people who were rescued. How is it? Kate walked to the side of the chief resident Kelly. 3 have been rescued and sent to the operating room. Chief Resident Kelly explained. The last one is not in good condition. Dr. Duncan is helping with the rescue. Gray, make the announcement. Adam's voice came from the other side while he was talking. Time of death 23:33. As usual, Lexi announced the death. There was a dead silence. Everyone go away. Don't worry, we have done our best. Adam looked around and saw everyone's worry, and comforted them. I will let Detective Beckett contact the other party later. If there is anything, tell me. I won't let him come to trouble you. The medical staff who participated in the rescue, some relieved, some frowned, some smiled bitterly, and all dispersed listlessly. Damn bastard, Adam cursed in a low voice. It is really difficult to be a medical staff, to treat patients and save lives, and to bear this kind of threat that should not be borne after doing your best, although this is also the normal work of medical staff. But in the past, those were just the impulses and venting of patients or their families, and they did not have much action power. But this time, no one would doubt what Brother Owen said. He kept his word, and the psychological burden he brought to everyone was too heavy. Do you really want to contact him? Kate walked to Adam and said worriedly. He is from the British Special Department, and he is the elite among the elites in the department. Lawless, I just want to inform him. Adam smiled and said, we have tried our best. If you have any dissatisfaction, just come and talk to me. Don't make such a big noise for no reason. Seeing Kate still looking at him worriedly, Adam shook his head and said, if he really wants to hurt innocent people, I am the leader in charge of rescue, and I am his priority target to hurt. In this case, it is better to take the matter down and try to solve it. What else can we do? Let the innocent colleagues in the hospital panic all day long? This is a hospital, and everyone has to save people anytime and anywhere. How to save people in this state? What if I fail and let innocent patients who should not have died die? That is not the scene I want to see. Speaking of this, seeing that Kate's eyes were not right, he couldn't help but smile. What's wrong? When will you get off work? Kate suddenly said something irrelevant. I'm not leaving tonight. Although Owen has passed the critical period, it's best to keep an eye on him at all times. If he dies, his bastard brother will really hurt innocent people without a care, Adam explained, then looked at Kate with a wink, and teased, do you need to clear up the case? Go to my office? Okay. Kate, contrary to her usual behavior, not only did not object, but agreed immediately. I'll go deal with things first, and I'll be there soon. Don't worry. Adam's heart was warmed, and while saying, he ran quickly to the operating room. I'll go to the ward first. If the situation is stable and I'm not needed, I'll be there immediately. The two acted separately. Kate, after running a few steps, Adam stopped and turned to look at Kate. What? Kate also stopped and looked over. Adam moved his mouth, but no sound came out. In public, he always had to consider some influence. Pooh. Kate understood Adam's lip language, cursed softly, and left. Even without Adam's request, she would not change into casual clothes. The situation is uncertain now. If there is any gunfight later, she can withdraw from the battle at any time wearing a bulletproof vest. This damn hero complex. Adam looked at Kate's leaving figure and shook his head secretly. They knew each other well. Of course he knew why Kate's mood changed so much suddenly. It was naturally because he took the initiative to take risks and hold up a safe sky for other innocent people. Such behavior, in Kate's eyes, was extremely handsome and made her heart beat. It was almost dawn tomorrow, and it would be an unusually beautiful tomorrow. But Adam would not indulge in it. He would not take the initiative to do such troublesome behavior unless it was absolutely necessary. He admired heroes, but he was not a hero, and he would not be a hero. The safety of him and his relatives and friends always came first. This time, in addition to what he just said, he was the leader and there was no way to avoid this reason. There was another reason, that is, he didn't think Owen's bald brother would really do anything excessive. Although the other party had sent a message to Adam to try his best to save 4 people, but try, it is not necessarily necessary. Of course, if the conversation with the other party is not ideal, then Adam can only be forced to fight back. If it really threatens Adam, he doesn't mind spending a lot of resources to eliminate this threat. The elite of the British Special Department, with a license to kill and lawless, sounds awesome, but that's for ordinary people. For the real upper class, these people are just consumables that can be sacrificed at any time. As long as Adam is willing to make trouble and make it big, the other party will definitely be sacrificed in the end. After all, in the American TV world, Adam is a member of the upper class. Adam went to the operating room first and checked the 3 operations. They were all famous doctors, and the most difficult cement separation had been completed with the help of Adam. The next operation was actually just a simple operation for them who had sufficient manpower. Adam helped and rescued the 3 high school students from the cement pile in time, but received a reward reminder from the system of plus 0.01 times 3. That's enough. After that, Adam went to Owen's ward again, checked his condition, and looked at Owen, who was silly and crazy about love before, lying there stupidly, and his eyes gradually exuded a dangerous atmosphere. Adam shook his head. He didn't know whether it was lucky or unlucky to have such a big brother. This was probably another story of Thor and Loki. Chapter 832, Soft or Hard? Early morning, medical center. Office. Adam and Kate went through the case without taking off their clothes. Mr. Deckard. Adam played with the material of the bulletproof vest while calling Owen's ruthless brother. Yes, bald Deckard on the other end of the phone did not rest. One of the high school students died after failed rescue. Adam said, "We have tried our best." "This is not the news I want to hear," bald Deckard on the other end of the phone said lightly. "I hope they are all alive and continue to be afraid. The facts are not always as expected." Adam said calmly, "So, we are okay, right? You won't implicate innocent people, right?" "You are very confident," bald Deckard said. "What can we do if we are not confident?" Adam said lightly. "We are worried about being retaliated by you criminals every day. We doctors who treat and save people are not at ease to work. Don't forget that you criminals are also human beings, and compared with ordinary people, you are easily injured and need the help of medical staff more. So I hope you don't threaten and vent your anger on medical staff. Let us do what we should do. Otherwise, one day, when you need medical treatment, you will regret your current behavior." "I'm not a criminal," Bald Dyke retorted. "The thing that is most lacking in this world is people." Haha. Adam sneered. "Unless they are completely anti-human perverts, no matter how cruel the criminals are, they all have their own set of inner logic. They all think that they have reasons for committing crimes, and even think that they are not criminals. But it's a pity that we judge by deeds rather than by heart. No matter who you are, what your identity is, and what your motives are, what you do is a crime." With the cruel behavior of the 4 high school students, Adam actually didn't dislike Bald Dyke's revenge. He even secretly hoped that big sisters like Penny would encounter more people like Bald Dyke when they wantonly bully other weak ones. If there were more such things, there would be less bullying. the American TV world would also be more harmonious. But Baldek's behavior of threatening medical staff and implicating innocent people was something he could never accept. What if I say no? Baldek did not continue to refute, but just asked with interest. Then I have no choice. Adam smiled and said, I have no intention of provoking someone like you, but if I have to, I can only give you two choices. One is soft, the other is hard. It depends on which one you choose. Give me a choice? Baldek couldn't help laughing. There are soft and hard? How about soft? And how about hard? It's very simple. Adam smiled and said, as for the soft one, of course I will call someone and find a big shot who can deal with you, as long as they are willing to pay enough resources. I believe they will not mind the feeling of being consumables. Indeed. Baldek nodded on the other end of the phone. This is indeed what those high-ranking big shots do. With your billions of dollars and great reputation, it is indeed possible for you, Adam Duncan. But I'm more curious about what kind of hard you mean by hard. Obviously he had also checked Adam's message. That's even easier. Adam smiled and said, you advocate violence. So let's find a place to fight and talk with fists. I'll beat you up. We'll talk it over from now on and forget about this. After that, you continue on your criminal path, and I'll continue on my path of saving people. How about we keep our distance from each other? That's really tough. Baldek smiled. I like it. I choose tough. Do you have time now? Adam was ready to strike while the iron was hot. Today's matter should be done today. He didn't have time to get entangled with the other party. He was not surprised by the other party's choice. They didn't have a deep hatred. Each of them was a little afraid of the other's identity. It was enough to beat each other up. Of course, Baldek didn't refuse. He had never met such an arrogant doctor before. His fists were rarely itchy, and he urgently needed the touch of fists hitting flesh. Adam mentioned the nearest boxing club near the medical center and hung up the phone. You want to fight him? Kate was lying next to him, and she had already understood it, her eyes shining. You can't go. Adam shook his head and said, this is a private matter. The night is not suitable to be involved. Seeing Kate was about to refute, Adam made the final decision. Don't say you are just going to take a look. Your identity determines that as long as you go, the situation will change. You don't want me and the medical staff of the medical center to be unable to get rid of this bad thing, right? Okay. Kate heard this, thought about it, and nodded helplessly. That's right. Adam touched Kate's face. Don't be unhappy. Even if you go, you can't catch him. And even if you catch him, you can't do anything to him. Why bother? Think of something happy. This time I will go and I will definitely help you teach him a lesson. Then it's settled. Kate couldn't help laughing. Beat him up. Do you know the Buddha in the East? Adam laughed. This time, I will make him a Buddha. Ha ha ha. Kate understood the joke, and when she thought of Baldek's bald head turning into a head full of bumps, she laughed out loud. Adam teased her a few more times and prepared to go to the appointment. Oh no! Kate suddenly shouted. Adam, do you want to fight again tomorrow? You should have a good rest today. Why, are you afraid of 2 against 1? Adam teased. Don't worry, your fighting ability is nothing. When you can let go, it will be fine. But just now, I just wanted to change the style, and you twisted your hands and feet. With you like this, even if I fight 10 people now, it won't have any effect. Pa! Kate sneered and spat at Adam, smiling without saying anything, packed up her combat clothes, and followed Adam out of the office. Although she agreed not to follow, but at this time, she couldn't sleep even if she was asked to sleep, so she might as well get up and wait for Adam's good news. Adam walked around the hospital again, then left the building, drove a sports car, came to a nearby boxing club, and arranged a room. Not long after, Baldek walked in leisurely, looked at Adam, then looked at the boxing ring, and a smile appeared on his cold face. Do you want boxing gloves? Baldek smiled and said. Do you want to restrict the rules? Of course not. Adam smiled and said. There is no referee here. We can end the fight when we are satisfied. As for boxing gloves, they are not necessary. Otherwise, even I cannot accurately control the force and angle to make you a Buddha. Very good. Baldek climbed up the boxing ring with 2 leaps and easily flipped onto the boxing ring. He hooked his finger at Adam. Come on, Come on. Adam leaped directly over the boxing ring and the four ropes of the boxing ring, and landed steadily in front of Bald Dyke. He stretched out his hand to him in a cool manner. Bald Dyke was stunned. This was not only because Adam's movements were countless times more cool than his, but also because the human limit data behind this coolness shocked him. You have to know that the boxing ring is 1 meter above the ground, and the heights of the four ropes from the boxing ring are 42 centimeters, 72 centimeters, 102 centimeters, and 132 centimeters respectively. In other words, Adam jumped over 2.32 meters. AKA Yao Ming stood in front of Adam. Adam jumped from the spot and flew directly over Yao Ming's head, barely scratching his scalp. Chapter 833, Monster, I will help you practice. Boxing club. Are you on drugs? Bald Dyke was stunned at first when he saw Adam's inhuman operation, and then he showed a look of realization. He is a professional violent person and is very clear about the human body's limit data. The world record for standing still is 1.65 meters. This is a public and official record. The masters are among the people. The highest undisclosed record is said to be 1.9 meters. But even then, it is said that it is not more than 2 meters. It is completely different from Adam's level of easily crossing a height of 2.32 meters. The higher the level, the higher the limit. Adam's leap was beyond the imagination of even a well-informed professional like him. He could only speculate based on Adam's identity as a doctor that Adam took special drugs. He was completely high. Do you want to pee so I can do a urine test? Adam taunted. I thought we were here to fight, not to flirt and take off pants. It doesn't matter. Bald Dyke's eyes turned cold, and he threw away his surprise and clenched his fists. Come on. You don't have to take off your pants, I'll help you pee. Adam's mouth twitched and he didn't want to talk anymore. If it was Black Widow, he might have been in the mood to talk to her before fighting, but the one in front of him was a bald bastard, and he was too lazy to say these potentially ambiguous words to her. This is not a BL literature, so he just raised his palm and hooked his finger. Bald Dyke was obviously too lazy to talk nonsense, and he came up and punched Adam in the face with agile movements. Adam's face turned black. It's too unrefined to hit someone in the face without hitting him. Jealousy. This is absolutely naked jealousy. Fortunately, Adam had bullet time and protected his face and time, so his handsome appearance was preserved. Adam automatically entered bullet time, turned his body to the side, and dodged the punch. With a move of his foot, he was already behind Bald Dyke. He clenched his right fist with his middle finger protruding. After a little calculation, he exerted a little force and knocked down the bald man in front of him who was trying to dodge by fighting instinct. Boom. A crisp knock on the head was heard. Bald Dyke felt a flash of pain in his forehead, and he immediately ducked and rolled on the ground to dodge, before he could completely stand up again from the rolling state. Boom, boom, boom. There were 3 consecutive knocks. Shit. Bald Dyke's eyes were full of stars. He knew that his own speed could not match Adam's, and he didn't care about attacking. He opened his hands and supported his head to protect his hairstyle. Bang! As soon as the knocking stopped, the banging sound started again. A fist hit Bald Dyke's left eye socket accurately. Bald Dyke endured the pain and rolled directly to the ground, then pulled the ropes on the ring and went down from the ring and escaped from the ring. He grabbed a chair from under the ring and smashed it with force, holding the 2 chair legs with both hands as a stick, and then he had the confidence to look at Adam who was standing on the ring and looking at him with a smile. Come here. Adam stretched out his hand and used the rolling door's unique skills of 1 fingers and in lion roar again. Bald Dyke blinked his sore left eye, touched the red and swollen bumps on his forehead, and rushed up with a firm look. The thing that people in their line of work lack the most is courage. Although Adam's strength seems to be much stronger than his, but as long as he can still fight, there is a chance to turn the tables. Once he seizes the opportunity, he must give Adam a hard blow, and then beat him back with interest. Boom, 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 boom. Although there was a stick bonus, the weapon was no match for the magic power. Under Adam's bullet time and agility, everything was illusory and he couldn't touch Adam at all. Adam directly tapped the rhythm on Bald Dyke's head. If someone is familiar with Oriental music, he might directly call out the 3 words General's order. That's right, Adam imitated the music that Tang Bao used to fool the doctor sent by King Ning and flirting scholar, but this time it was replaced with the percussion music that Tang Bao has been studying. As Tang Bao said, it was really exciting. Stop, suffering so many blows, trying his best, but unable to do anything to Adam. Bald Dyke, who was brave and resilient, couldn't bear it anymore, and opened his mouth to end this meaningless unilateral beating. But under bullet time, Adam had already noticed that he was going to surrender, so while Bald Dyke had just opened his mouth and hadn't said anything, Adam accelerated the tapping speed, completed the percussion version of the General's order, and punched Bald Dyke in the intact right eye socket. There is no way. Adam has a bit of obsessive-compulsive disorder in his 2 good friends Sheldon and Monica. Not playing the piece completely and symmetrically won't kill Adam, but it will make him feel uncomfortable. Looking at the Buddha Descartes shawl with panda eyes, Adam breathed a sigh of relief. He finally felt relieved. He was done. How did you do it? Panda Buddha Descartes shawl tried to hold back, but couldn't help it. He grimaced in pain. His always firm and cold eyes couldn't be maintained. He asked in disbelief. Many people have asked this question. Don't ask. Adam looked disgusted, but he was reminded of some good memories by this familiar exclamation question, and then the Panda Buddha in front of him was too annoying, which greatly destroyed his good memories. Evolving from Bald Descartes to Panda Buddha, Descartes Shaw's hostility and arrogance were shattered in front of Adam. He realized it. Without grudges and hatred, there would not be so many conflicts. A little peace is the blessing of the world. I have always been in good health, and many people know that. Adam also reacted. It was not the end after the fight, but to let the other party feel relieved. So he simply explained and stretched out his hand to the other party. Are we okay now? Panda Buddha Descartes Shaw met Adam's serious eyes, stared at Adam for a while, and then stretched out his hand and shook Adam's hand. We are okay. Adam kept staring at his eyes, using all the skills he learned from Juno, and his super brain was running at full speed to analyze where the Buddha of Panda Buddha came from. Is it the Buddha with great wisdom and enlightenment in myths and legends? Or is it the Buddha in movies and novels such as Journey to the West and God of Cookery, who will be targeted forever and cannot be freed once offended, and is petty to the extreme? If it is the latter, he can only use Tai Kai Ban Lin Kua to kill the opponent with both soft and hard methods. But he didn't want to do this unless it was absolutely necessary, because the other person is a person who can affect the whole body with a single move. If it really comes to that, it will be difficult for Adam to guarantee the absolute safety of his relatives and friends. Of course, it's not completely impossible, but as the saying goes, it's not worth it unless it's absolutely necessary. Fortunately, the other party also understood what Adam meant, gave up their plan of escalating the fight to the death, and chose to accept the kindness. After all, Panda Buddha Dik Shaw is a character who is both good and evil. He has a good side and is not completely evil. But if there is a chance in the future, I will come back. Panda Buddha Dik shook hands with Adam with a little force. As long as you don't do it in a shady way, you are welcome to fight at any time. Adam exerted a little force, and the powerful force directly pinched the other party's face stiff. Panda Buddha Dik then confirmed that Adam was not only faster than him, but also stronger than him. He deserved to lose. Chapter 834, Speed and Furious. Boxing Club. Adam and Panda Buddha Dik exchanged opinions thoroughly. There were some unpleasant moments, but they finally returned to a friendly conversation. Now that everyone has talked about it, I hope you can call the hospital again and tell them to take good care of your brother Owen, Adam suggested, but also show your goodwill that you will not pursue other things, so that they can work with peace of mind. Okay. Panda Buddha Dik agreed with a kind look. Then goodbye. Adam smiled and said, I will stay in the hospital all day in the next few days to ensure that your brother Owen gets the best medical treatment. Thank you. Dik thanked him without the coldness at the beginning. Adam nodded, left the club, got into the sports car, and stopped at the intersection with a red light. A car followed behind and stopped side by side with Adam in front of the intersection. The car window rolled down, revealing the funny face of Panda Buddha Dik. Buzz buzz buzz. A roar of powerful sound rang out. Let's compare? Dik turned his head to look over. Forget it. Adam shook his head. although he likes to race to save time. That is based on his bullet time reaction, but that doesn't mean he likes racing with others, because others are obviously not as good as him. If they are not careful, the car may be destroyed and people may die. It doesn't matter if you kill yourself, but it would be bad if you kill others. No confidence. Dick couldn't help laughing. This kind of provocation is too low level. Adam laughed. Will it work? Dick smiled. Are you willing to admit defeat? Adam laughed dumbly. Okay, but you have to choose a route with fewer people and cars. No problem, Dick said. A route. Adam thought about it and nodded in agreement. Let's make a bet, Dick said casually. Whoever wins, the loser will owe the winner a favor and do something for him in the future. How about it? I'm not interested in participating in your things. Adam immediately understood the origin of this bet and shook his head. How about to the best of my ability? Descartes glanced at Adam. If you win, I promise you two things, and I will do my best. Are you so sure you can win? Adam said with a smile. Haha. Descartes smiled reservedly. He was born in the British Special Department, and he is the elite among the elites, with superb skills. Now in terms of fighting, although he is completely crushed by Adam, but this does not mean that he has completely lost confidence in other aspects, at least not in driving skills. You know, after he betrayed the British Special Department, his profession for a living was underground deliveryman. Whether it was bank robbers or gangsters, they all flocked to him because of his 100% delivery ability, and to achieve 100% delivery ability, his driving skills can be imagined. I can promise you. Adam pondered for a moment, looked at Descartes, and said seriously, but I hope this is the first and last time. I said I am not interested in participating in your affairs, and I am not interested. The reason why I promised you this time is to fully express my friendliness. But after this time, if there are similar attempts, I can only think that you are ignoring my friendly attitude. Then I can only express regret for this. This is an unfriendly action that I cannot tolerate. I hope you can stop before it is too late, and don't say that I didn't warn you. No problem. It's settled. Seeing Adam's big reaction, Descartes was silent for a moment, nodded and said, I don't have any intention against you, but with your strength, you can become a super agent and protect the world in the shadows. The one who really protects the world has always been the sun. Adam interrupted. Many times you think you are protecting the world in the shadows, but in fact you are just used as a tool by the big guys to do private work, and this kind of private work is hurting the world. So I don't want you to think, I want me to think. If one day, you are completely free from conspiracy and calculation, I will be happy to be a real friend with you, because in some ways, I still admire you. My pleasure. Dyke smiled, but I have my own insistence. I understand. Adam nodded and said, in that case, let's have a race. Buzz buzz buzz. Dyke responded directly by roaring the accelerator. At this time, the red light had entered the countdown. Both of them held the steering wheel tightly and looked forward. When the red light turned green, the two cars drove out one after the other. Adam's Porsche sports car was ahead of Dyke's BMW without any surprise. Dyke just smiled slightly. This route has a lot of bends. A temporary lead does not mean anything. Who can really win the race depends on how good their driving skills are. Although he got the news in a hurry and rushed to New York from England, as an elite of the Special Department of England, he has a special residence and car in the big cities around the world, and all logistical support is in place. His BMW has also been specially modified. Not only is the glass all bulletproof, but the engine is also extremely powerful. The instant acceleration will make laymen who have never played modified racing cars stunned. The hardware of the car and the software of the driving skills are both top-notch. He couldn't understand how he could lose. Unfortunately, Adam saw through his purpose at a glance and issued the most serious warning, which made his plan to lure Adam into the car fail from the beginning. With this superhuman fighting power, super medical skills, abundant money, handsome appearance and physical fitness, plus this keen insight, as long as he is trained a little, he will definitely be the strongest 007 in history. Now he can only temporarily put aside the plan to pull Adam into the gang and focus all his attention on winning this game. Only by winning can he tell Adam that there are people who are better than people and there are heavens beyond heaven. Their life as an agent is also very exciting. Thinking of this, he suppressed the distracting thoughts in his heart and shifted all his attention to the car. Where is he? At this time, he suddenly realized that Adam's Porsche was gone. Take another route, no matter what. Reach the finish line at full speed first. Descartes kept accelerating, using handsome drifting to turn, and rushed all the way. He was also very familiar with New York, and this route was the one he had carefully optimized. The shortest distance. Although he didn't know which road Adam turned to, he didn't think it was wise for Adam to do so. In order to maximize his driving skills, this road not only has many bends, but is also very long. 10 minutes later, he saw the end. But what made his panda sting was that at the end, a Porsche had already stopped there. Seeing him coming, it slowly drove over here. When the two cars crossed, they stopped and the windows rolled down. Remember my words. This is the first time and the last time. Adam reminded again, took a bite of ice cream, smiled, and drove away. Dick. P.S. Thank you Zyuxian for your lifeless reward. Chapter 835, Sadness Caused by Replay. Let's not talk about the MMP in Dyke's heart. Adam easily crushed this British special elite again and drove back to the medical center. As for the two favors that Dyke mentioned, he could go all out to help Adam do two things. Adam didn't take it seriously at all. With his money ability, there were not many things that needed the other party's help, and those who really needed the other party's help were mostly privacy that could not be disclosed to the other party. This bald man is not Juno. He is very bad. With the troublemaker attribute of the special department where the other party is located, after helping, he will 100% use the matter as a handle and threaten Adam to help with things. As he did it, Adam turned from an upright person into a shadow in the dark. Kate found out that Dyke betrayed the British Special Department and is now an underground deliveryman. In other words, it's just a joke. After entering this store, he has a license to kill, and has done so many illegal and criminal acts that cannot be recorded and announced. Just like a real man never looks back at the explosion, how can there be a chance to quit alive? Once the information is released, how can the families of the innocent people who died in various explosions and violent activities accept your pretentiousness? Ordinary innocent people can't do anything about it. But what about the police who were once used as background and were killed and injured at any time? Their families and colleagues are all fully armed. You have to ask their guns whether they agree that there is such a powerful person as you. Either you completely confront your old boss and everyone, and live a life of being hunted from now on. After all, personal strength is limited and cannot fight against your old boss and everyone. This road is still a dead end. Or you confront them openly and continue to be a tool for your old boss in secret. With the pressure from the old boss, all negative news will be controlled and cleared. From the fact that Dyke is still alive and living a very cool life, and becoming a 100% successful underground deliveryman, Adam is sure that this guy chose the latter. As for the reason, it is not difficult to guess. Underground deliveryman can definitely get in touch with underground forces, which is a kind of undercover behavior. In the American TV series, nuclear bombs can be delivered back and forth. If there is such a powerful underground deliveryman, maybe he will be recruited by the gangsters to deliver. The value of this undercover agent is revealed. Being an undercover agent can also save the world. This kind of life looks cool, but it is actually bloody and dark. How could Adam, the son, fall to do such a thing? What a fart. How is it? Back to the medical center, Kate, who had been waiting there, came up to greet him. What do you think? Adam smiled. I want to hear the details, Kate urged. After Adam described the growth story of the Panda Buddha, she burst into laughter. You are so bad. Okay, you are tired all day. Go and rest. Adam reminded. I'll go check the ward. Okay. Kate smiled and nodded. It was already 2:30 in the morning, and in a few hours, it would be dawn. With nothing to do in his mind, the tiredness instantly swept over his body. Adam went to Owen's ward. George was so sleepy and tired that he lay down on the cot in the corridor and fell asleep. The little man was reading a book. When he saw Adam coming, he got up quickly. How is it? Adam asked. Everything is fine, the little man said. Just now, Owen's brother called and asked us to take good care of Owen. Other things will not be pursued." George relaxed and just fell asleep. "Does everyone else know?" Adam asked. "Everything is known." The little man looked at Adam. "Dr. Duncan, did you come forward to solve it? Let Carter take over you, and you should go to sleep for a while." Adam smiled without comment. "I'm not sleepy." The little man shook his head. Adam glanced at him and saw that he was in good spirits, so he didn't say anything more. He explained a few words and left. It's always good to be willing to do things. Adam returned to the office, sat down, and reviewed everything that happened today in his mind. There is no way, when encountering these special people, it is not too cautious. Not only does he have to review it now, but he will also ask Juno to come over this weekend to review and deduce it with her. It's better to be careful. While reviewing everything that happened today, Adam suddenly noticed some details that he had overlooked before. Adam's mind moved, and the high-definition image memory of the superbrain automatically entered 0.5 times the speed of playback. Under the high-definition slow motion, everything was very clear. This time it was right. Adam picked up the phone and dialed it. A few minutes later, an African-American woman in a white coat came and knocked on the door. "Dr. Duncan, you want to see me?" "Jenny, come in." Adam stood up to greet her, led the emergency room doctor assistant Jenny Bray to sit down, and closed the door. Jenny's eyes were obviously panicked. Adam sighed in his heart. "Jenny, you know me," Adam said carefully. "If there is anything, you can tell me. As long as I can help, I will try my best to help." "I know." Jenny forced a smile and said, "but I don't know what you want to say." "Dr. Duncan, I don't need help." "When was it confirmed?" Adam nodded, and changed his tone and asked clearly, "What is the viral load?" How do you know?" Jenny's face turned pale. "Today, the emergency department is too busy, and everyone is under pressure from Brother Owen, so they all seem very panicked." Adam explained, "So I didn't notice your abnormality before, but I just thought about it and realized that your panic is different from that of others. You dare not touch sharp objects, and when dealing with the patient's wounds, you not only dare not approach, but even dare not look at them. You find excuses to exchange tasks with others. When you leave, your watch makes a timed sound. After you press it, you look around and leave in a hurry. I think it's time to take the medicine." "Is it the cocktail therapy?" Yes. Jenny really didn't have the confidence to refute such a question. After she learned that she was infected with AIDS, she has been keeping it secret. Because of the various miraculous deeds that Adam spread, she subconsciously stayed away. But she didn't expect that in such a busy emergency work. She was not in Adam's group, but was just caught by Adam's peripheral vision, and still exposed her biggest secret. What else can she say? This is all fate. The viral load is 15,000. 15,000? Not bad. Adam nodded and said, "Which triple cocktail therapy is used?" Zidovudine, tritiacetidine and protease inhibitors. Jenny bowed her head. "This is the latest cocktail therapy," Adam said. "Although there has been no long-term research, preliminary results show that it is more effective than drugs that have been used for more than 10 years, but there are some side effects." Jenny was silent. Adam glanced at her and said carefully, "Jenny, I know you are not the kind of person who messes around outside. You got AIDS either by being accidentally stabbed by a needle or by your husband." "My ex-husband." Jenny couldn't help but correct her. "I'm sorry." Adam apologized. "I know it's not your fault, but since things have come to this, I hope you can take the initiative to apply for a transfer." "No." Jenny looked up at Adam as soon as she heard it. "As long as I take good protection, I won't infect patients." So far, there has only been one case of a dentist infecting a patient. "I won't affect my work." Adam frowned immediately. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 836 Sue's Adam Medical Center. Adam's office. "Jenny, you know that's only a public record, right?" Adam frowned and reminded, "In private, many patients don't know how they were infected even if they were infected." I'll be careful, Jenny emphasized again with a pale face. This is not something you can control by being careful. Adam sighed. You are doing first aid. When you encounter a sharp wound, can you find someone to replace you once, or can you find someone to replace you every time? There will always be times when you can't find someone to replace you. It just so happens that in the emergency room, injuries such as stabbing by glass and glass piercing the wound are very common, not to mention the patient's stitches. You hold the stitches, the injection of drugs, the injection needle. Once you accidentally get pierced by sharp objects such as glass, stitches, and needles, and the blood drips onto the patient's wound, you are taking risks with the patient's health. I will be extra careful. Jenny's face became paler, but she still repeated the same words. Dr. Duncan, seeing Adam frowning and looking unyielding, Jenny pleaded with her eyes. I will be careful. Please don't spread the news. You don't know my pain. My ex-husband passed this disease to me, and my love and marriage died completely. Now I only have my career. I have worked so hard for so long, and I have the ability to do something as a PA. I have the value of existence. Jenny choked up when she said this. PA, physician assistant. In the world of American TV series, the training cycle of doctors is long and the cost is high. In addition, in order to maintain the high pain and scarce status of the doctor group in the entire social structure, the number of doctors has been firmly restricted from the source. This has caused the problem of human resource shortage in the medical system, which is easily broken by emergencies. In order to alleviate this situation, the position of physician assistant began to appear. The doctor's Doctor of Medicine corresponds to Sheldon's doctorate, and PA corresponds to Howard's master's degree, which every doctor has. After graduating from undergraduate school, you only need to study for 2 years, pass the PA exam, get the PA certificate, and renew the certificate every 6 years. However, since they are not trained as regular clinicians, PAs are only half doctors. They can only diagnose and treat patients under the guidance of clinicians, and can only perform simple diagnosis and treatment. The salary is good, not as good as that of doctors, but much higher than that of nurses. Using PAs to replace some doctors is also a way for old capitalists to save money. Jenny is an excellent PA. You do have value in your existence, Adam advised. In other positions, as long as you are willing, you can also shine. Why do you have to risk the health of patients? Sending and receiving emails, organizing files? Jenny said with tears in her eyes. I have struggled for so long, just to do this. I don't know how many days I have left. I will do this. Don't say it's not necessarily. I met such a person when I went to the clinic. He was originally a surgeon. He taught me a truth. Never trust anyone, especially the management. When he was tested positive, he took the initiative to tell the chief of surgery. Then he was transferred to the geriatric department, and he was not allowed to do anything except measuring blood pressure. Later, he was not even allowed to measure blood pressure, and continued to demote him to the pathology department to work the night shift. After working for 6 months, he really couldn't stand this invisible discrimination and coercion, and resigned on his own initiative as the hospital management wished. Yes, because it involves discrimination laws, the hospital cannot fire me, but they have countless ways to force me to resign on my own initiative. So I ask you not to spread this news. I will be careful. I don't deny that this is indeed the case. Adam shook his head and said, but you can't endanger other innocent patients for the sake of your career and the value of your existence. As long as you don't say it, no one will know. Jenny begged. This is definitely not the first case. I heard that many hospitals have this situation. As long as you don't take the initiative to expose it, the hospital will pretend not to know, because that will put the hospital in a dilemma. Firing and forcing may trigger our discrimination lawsuit. Disclosing the information may trigger countless patients to sue. The only way to do it is to pretend not to know. That's for you. What about those innocent patients? Adam narrowed his eyes. The career you pursue, the ultimate value of survival, is to let innocent patients bear all the risks for yourself. You have forgotten the original intention of curing diseases and saving lives. What kind of medical staff are you? What career and value can you pursue? I will be careful. Jenny lowered her head and repeated this sentence again. You can't be careful, Adam said calmly. because your body is not under your control. You are fine now, but as time goes by, you will face a series of problems. The first one is dementia. This is the first symptom of a full-scale AIDS outbreak. Once the disease breaks out, and you have patients who need treatment, do you know the consequences? There has been no official case showing that a doctor with AIDS has killed a patient because of dementia, Jenny retorted with her head down. Alas. Adam looked at her disappointedly and said in a deep voice, "We can discuss your future work and try our best to balance your value of existence and preventing infectious patients. But you can't stay in the emergency trauma room anymore. Don't say you will be careful. Don't say how other hospitals deal with it. Now that I have encountered this incident, I will never allow this kind of behavior of playing Russian roulette with innocent patients for one's own sake to continue to happen in front of me. Think about it. Many of those who have passed through your hands are innocent children. When you suture their wounds from playing and fighting, how can you bear to let them take this risk? I'll be careful." Jenny was still repeating the logic that she regarded as a life-saving straw. Seeing that Adam was serious, her face became tangled. "You can't do this. This is my privacy. You have no right to spread my privacy. If you do, I will sue you for discrimination." "I won't spread your privacy." Adam looked at her deeply. "But you also said that the hospital has the right to transfer your position. And I'm just an intern, not a hospital manager. If they want to transfer me, I can't do anything. As for suing me, if you really sue me for this, then sue me. You have your pursuits and persistence." "What a coincidence. I also have my pursuits and my persistence." "When you really go to court and face the jury, you are innocently infected with AIDS and are an object of sympathy. We all admit this. But what about the injured and children who are put at risk by you? Do you think the jury will stand on your side or the children's side? The most important point, who is more innocent?" Jenny burst into tears, covered her mouth and ran out of the office. Chapter 837 The White Widow is here. Medical Center. Morning. Adam led the 4 children to make rounds. "Dr. Duncan, can I see Lola?" Owen asked. "Not for the time being." Adam shook his head and said, "You should recover first, and we'll meet later when we have time." "Is it because she doesn't want to see me?" Owen's IQ began to improve after being brutally taught a lesson by his bald and irritable elder brother. They were all transferred to another hospital. Adam glanced at him. He. Owen couldn't help laughing. So they were forced to transfer to another hospital even though they had just finished the operation and their bodies were not suitable for transfer. "Just because I'm here?" This smile was very complicated. George and the others lowered their heads and didn't look at him. There was no way. If they were in their place, facing such a terrible criminal, they would most likely transfer to another hospital immediately, just to get a little further away. Owen fell silent, stopped talking, and his eyes began to deepen. Adam gave the 4 children some instructions and went to the emergency room alone. "Is Jenny not here?" Adam turned around and didn't see Jenny, so he asked calmly. "She asked for leave this morning," the nurse explained. "Does Dr. Duncan need him? Can I call her for you?" "No thanks." Adam smiled and shook his head. As long as he didn't stay in the emergency trauma room to treat trauma patients, he had no objection. Don't advise others to be kind without experiencing their suffering. Although Adam knew Jenny's suffering, he couldn't really understand it. But he knew that Jenny was actually struggling inside. Otherwise, if she were someone without a trace of conscience, she would not deliberately avoid sharp objects and risk being noticed by others to find someone to deal with this kind of trauma for her. So although he was disappointed with Jenny's stubbornness and selfishness, he would not go too far. After all, who is not selfish? If he were Jenny, he would have worked hard for so many years and finally got a very good job. Now he is facing the risk of unemployment because of this damn nightmare. I am afraid he would be very entangled. But if it was him, after a while of entanglement, he would still choose to transfer to another position to avoid the more risky emergency trauma. After all, he is like most people. He is selfish, but he doesn't want to hurt others. Noon. Buffet restaurant. Adam was having a meal when Jenny came over. "Dr. Duncan." "Jenny. What's up?" Adam looked up at her. "Yes." Jenny nodded. "Okay, let's talk over there." Adam stood up and took Jenny to the overpass. "I'm sorry, Dr. Duncan." Jenny was much calmer and apologized to Adam first. I was a little excited before. You don't know what I've been through these days. Listening to the experiences of people like me has put too much psychological pressure on me. I always feel that everyone is a bad person and will target me. I know that you, Dr. Duncan, are not that kind of person. I can understand. Adam nodded without comment. I went to Dr. Angelo this morning and the viral load was no longer detected, Jenny said excitedly. I guess the cocktail therapy really worked. Congratulations, this is indeed good news. Adam congratulated sincerely. Cocktail therapy refers to the use of 3 or more antiviral drugs in combination to treat AIDS, just like mixing various alcohols into a cocktail, so it is vividly described as cocktail therapy. This treatment method reduces the drug resistance caused by the use of a single drug, and can inhibit the replication of the virus to the maximum extent, delay the disease, prolong life, and improve the quality of life. For Tatiana, who is also an AIDS patient, it is indeed good news. Dr. Duncan. Jenny looked at Adam in a tangled manner. Sorry, Adam interrupted directly. You are a pa. You should know that the viral load was not detected. Just because the number of viruses has been reduced to the point that the instrument cannot detect it, it does not mean that it is completely cured and will not infect others. I know. Jenny's eyes darkened, and after a moment of silence, she looked at Adam. Dr. Duncan, you said you would help me find a way to balance risks and work. Is that true? Of course it's true. Adam nodded. We are colleagues. We all know that you are also an innocent victim. If possible, we are willing to provide you with all the help we can. If it were Mark Sloan, if he got this disease, he would only deserve it. Who made him so extravagant? But Jenny has never had such a mess. She was infected by her husband, now her ex-husband. Who could have thought of this? Can it be prevented? Is it possible? Jenny looked at Adam expectantly. She was once desperate and angry because of Adam's unhesitating rejection, because these days, she really heard and saw too many stories of everyone is against us, which made her subconsciously have only the binary opposition concept of helping her or harming her. After a night of calmness and the good news in the morning, she finally reacted. Adam didn't say that he would not help her, but he didn't agree with her approach of concealing the truth and putting innocent patients at risk. He clearly said that he could consider both. With his credibility and ability, this is entirely possible. And what is she doing? Pushing the person who was originally willing to help her directly to the opposite side, and even said that she would sue him if he didn't want to help her. He could just leak some information and the gossip storm would swallow her up. Why did he quietly call her over and tell her about this? Stupid, stupid, stupid. Jenny, who figured it all out, cursed herself countless times in her heart. Then she realized that she would not be so stupid before. Even if the experience of these days made her subconscious, it would not be so. Am I really suffering from dementia? Jenny, who couldn't understand her own operation, remembered what Adam said about the first symptom of a full-blown AIDS outbreak being dementia. Halfway through her walk, she returned to Dr. Angelo's clinic and expressed her doubts. Dr. Angelo was also stunned. After checking and testing, he told her that there were no signs of dementia. Of course it's possible. Adam smiled and said, I had this idea before, but it's a pity that you didn't want to listen. You want to realize your career pursuit and life value, and you don't want to spend the rest of your life sending and receiving emails and sorting out materials, wasting your years of hard work and struggle. This is normal, but it doesn't mean that this is absolutely contradictory to not letting innocent patients take risks. Do you know how much good doctors are needed in charities like Sunshine Home? You can go there to help those children with AIDS, treat them with your heart, and care for them with your heart. I think no one can understand their suffering better than you. As long as you are willing, you will become the most lovely doctor in their eyes. Isn't this better than staying in the emergency trauma room, which not only puts trauma patients at risk, but also makes you feel extremely entangled and tormented? Isn't this valuable enough? Is this okay? Jenny was stunned, and then became excited. As long as you are willing, of course. Adam nodded. If those Sunshine Homes are unwilling to accept doctors like Jenny, Adam can ask Carolyn to set up a Sunshine Home specifically to treat children with maternal AIDS, as long as Jenny is willing to take this as a career and value of existence. Adam thinks that she is definitely more suitable and dedicated than other doctors to be this doctor. This is a good deed for Jenny and those AIDS children. Adam is happy to help. Jenny will naturally not be unwilling. After dealing with this matter, Adam walked to the ward in a good mood and saw George and the little man standing outside the ward. George had a wry smile on his face, and a female voice with a British accent came from the ward. Medical center is confused. Outside the ward, Adam heard a very distinctive female voice with a British accent. You insisted on coming to the United States to escape from us. Look at what you have become now. Have you been fooled by the happy education? A man should be like Dick, playing with guns and cars, speaking with fists, and saving the world. Aren't you ashamed to be like this for a woman? Did you fly here from England just to come and see me laugh? Owen's voice came. Of course not. The distinctive female voice with a British accent sounded again. I am very busy now. There are so many things to learn. How can I have time to laugh at you? It's not worth it. I came to see someone, and seeing you is just a byproduct. Who? Owen asked curiously. At this time, Adam just walked to the door of the ward and looked inside. He saw a beautiful woman with golden curly hair standing in front of Owen's bed, sneering at Owen. Although Adam's footsteps were very light, the other party's hearing and intuition were very sharp. When Adam walked to the door and looked over, she also looked over sideways. Then, the blonde beauty who looked very much like Deng Ziki in Adam's previous life showed a sly smile and pointed at Adam. Dr. Duncan? Owen was surprised. Do you know Dr. Duncan? I didn't know him before, but I know him now. As the blonde beauty spoke, she walked towards Adam and stretched out her hand. Let me introduce myself to you. Heidi Shaw, Deckard Shaw's sister. Are you sure? Adam stretched out his hand and shook hers, teasing. You don't look like siblings. Many people say so. Owen had been holding back his anger for a long time, and couldn't help but agree. I always suspected that he was adopted. You are the one who was adopted. The blonde beauty Heidi glanced at Owen. Deckard and I are exactly the same. We are definitely siblings. As she spoke, she moved, exerted force with her arm, grabbed Adam's arm, and twisted it. But to her surprise, Adam's arm was firmly placed there, and she couldn't twist it at all. It seems that you are right. You and Deckard are indeed siblings. Adam shook his head. We both like violence. Oh, really? That's because you haven't seen my violence yet. Heidi saw that she couldn't twist Adam's arm, so she just ducked down and pulled Adam's arm hard, and clamped her feet in the air towards Adam. Adam's mouth twitched. He was familiar with this move. Whether he saw Black Widow use it in his previous life, or Juno practiced it in this life, it was the same routine. Deadly scissor kick. But whether it was Black Widow or Juno, they were either wearing leather pants or sweatpants. You are wearing a skirt. Is it really okay? Countless complaints flashed in his mind, and for a moment even Adam's superbrain and bullet time were slightly slow, and Heidi clamped his neck in the air. The strong strangulation force on his neck made Adam, who was confused, react. This change in the move might be deliberately used by her wearing a skirt. Her elder brother Deckard is an elite agent. She admires her elder brother so much and advocates violence. Most of her is also an agent. As an agent, he deliberately designed this, which was very cunning and reasonable. It's a bit too much. Adam reached out and grabbed one of Heidi's feet. With a strong force, he directly pried apart the 2 feet that were twisted together and clamped Adam's neck. With the other hand, he held Heidi's arm, which Heidi used as a support, and directly pinched Heidi's neck, lifted Heidi in the air, and slammed her against the wall. Heidi was pinched by the neck and hung on the wall. She patted Adam's arm with both hands, indicating to let go. This is a hospital. Stop making trouble. Adam gave a warning look, then let go of her hand and let her fall to the ground. You are really powerful. Heidi rubbed her pinched neck and looked at Adam. No wonder you can beat Dick like that. I heard that he has no power to fight back. Do you think I am better than him? How should I know? To me, you are all the same, Adam said lightly. If you really want to know, you can go and fight him. Who is strong and who is weak will be clear at a glance. We haven't seen each other for a long time. Heidi shook her head. Really? Adam glanced at her. Didn't he ask you to come here? No. Heidi was keenly aware of Adam's indifference, smoothed her long golden hair, and said calmly, I broke up with him a long time ago. We are the kind of people who would beat each other to death if we meet. Adam just laughed at this. But he didn't continue to say anything, just thinking that she just heard about it, and then came to see Adam because she was interested in Adam, who beat up her eldest brother and saved her second brother's life. Anyway, he would ignore Heidi in the future. If she dared to pester him, he could only regard it as breaking the rules. He is not the kind of person who can't walk when he sees a woman. He has seen everything. Honey trap? That's it? Not really. He was confused. That was a sudden shock and daze. If this state continues, it will not be confusion, but stupidity. Owen, I'm leaving. Heidi rubbed her neck, turned around, glanced at Adam, said to her second brother Owen, walked out the door, and when she passed by Adam, she paused and looked at Adam sideways. Does it look good? Without waiting for Adam to speak, she stuffed a card into Adam's pocket and walked away with a smile. This is my room number. The flight is at 10 o'clock in the evening. I'll be here until 9 o'clock. Dr. Duncan. Owen looked at his little sister like this. His expression was tangled. Take good care of yourself. Adam took out the card, handed it to Owen without even looking at it, and smiled. I am a law-abiding citizen. Owen smiled unnaturally. Although he had a good impression of Adam who saved him, he still didn't want to see Adam and his little sister, one inviting and the other accepting, in front of him. Besides, don't look at his little sister, who looks like a mature and beautiful little driver, but she is only 17 years old, not to mention his little sister. In the corridor, Heidi walked away gracefully in her high heels, and met a beautiful woman who made her look at her more. The beautiful woman also noticed her gaze and smiled at her. The two smiled at each other and passed by. Not far away, a short and handsome doctor saw Heidi passing by and his eyes were stunned. What are you looking at? Next to the short and handsome doctor, a beautiful female doctor glanced at Heidi and frowned. Nothing. The short and handsome doctor forced himself to lower his head to cover up his gaffe, but when he heard the sound of high heels hitting the ground getting closer and closer, he couldn't help but raise his head. When he met those beautiful and cunning eyes, his heartbeat stagnated. Seeing this, Heidi raised her eyebrows at him, then glanced at the beautiful female doctor, smiled at the corners of her mouth, and left charmingly. P.S. Thank you for the reward from King Kong Wayne Liziki. Chapter 839 Black Widow's Growth Diary. Medical Center. Owen's ward. Dr. Duncan, do you mind if I do an interview? As soon as the White Widow left, the Black Widow came. You need to get the patient's consent for this. Adam smiled. I don't want to be interviewed. Owen refused coldly. That's a pity. Sandra glanced at Adam and didn't pester him like those persistent colleagues. The patient didn't want to be interviewed, but Adam could. She couldn't pester the patient, so could she pester Adam? Let's go. Let Owen have a good rest. Adam took Sandra out of the ward. The little guy stayed and continued to take care of him. George, after more than a day of fear, couldn't wait to leave and relax. Who was that blonde beauty just now? Sandra was thinking about how to pry open Adam's mouth, and suddenly the beautiful woman who just passed by her and smiled at each other suddenly appeared in her mind. If she was not mistaken, this blonde beauty with a strong aura that impressed her was from Owen's ward. A little brat, Adam said perfunctorily. One is most likely a British agent, and the other is a troublemaker who can't make big news. Adam doesn't want them to have any contact. Puff. George, who was following behind him, suddenly laughed. Doctor, do you have anything funny to share? Sandra immediately looked at George. Nothing. George wanted to say something, but when he met Adam's dangerous eyes, he immediately shut up and shook his head. I just remembered a private matter. Sorry, Dr. Duncan. If it's okay, I'll leave first. Yeah. Adam nodded. George ran away. He felt that if he told a joke like Adam has the most say in whether the other party is a brat or not. He didn't know if Adam would laugh, but he probably wouldn't laugh for a long time. Something's weird. Sandra rolled her eyes. Are you having an affair with that blonde beauty? Both. Adam looked around and saw that there was no one around, so he pushed her against the wall and looked down at her. What? Do you have any objections? Can't I have one? Sandra was as charming as spring water. Come to my place tonight. I'll teach you something good. Adam's heart moved. Pa, what good stuff can you have? Sandra chuckled. It's really a good thing. Adam heard the noise and stepped back, indicating that someone was coming. Sandra understood. and quickly straightened her clothes and returned to the posture of a professional reporter. "Tell me about it. You are out there reporting news, and there are many dangers," Adam explained. "Starting tonight, I am going to train you and teach you some tricks, so that you can have more self-protection ability outside in the future." "Tricks? Ha!" Sandra looked at Adam with a squint. "Please describe it." "Deadly scissor kick." Adam explained the trick that the White Widow had just used, which was also the trick of Sandra's multi-dimensional isotope Black Widow. "Pa, this trick is obviously not decent." Although Sandra had never practiced it, she had a good imagination and quickly came up with the whole set of moves in her mind, and then she instinctively realized the problem here. "Do you want me to practice the normal way or the reverse way, huh?" Adam was slightly startled. He admitted that he was not serious. After all, he had this idea, which was inspired by the stimulation just now, but the normal and reverse practice. Facing Sandra's charming glare, Adam thought for a while and then realized that he was indeed reckless. "And Sandra is indeed talented, a young man who can be taught." "It depends on you." Adam smiled. Sandra laughed and scolded a few words, and was sent away by Adam. When she walked out of the medical center and was blown by the cold wind, she finally realized she came to interview the news, and originally wanted to pester Adam to get inside information from him. But why did she leave in a daze without getting a hair? "Damn it." Sandra patted her forehead. "Why are you so disappointing?" After hesitating for a while, she still left. Next time, I must be clear-headed and not let beauty mess things up." Just when Adam thought that the matter between Baldeck and the brat Heidi was completely over, someone came to see him again in the afternoon. "William, what's up?" Adam looked at the short handsome William, sneaking up to him, looking as if he wanted to say something but stopped, and couldn't help but be surprised. Although they were classmates at Columbia University Medical School, their relationship was not very good. Could it be that Alice's matter was exposed? That. William hesitated for a while, and finally said, "Who was that blonde beauty in the morning?" Adam was stunned, and then looked at William with a weird look. In memory, William's face is a typical representative of a jerk, and his favorite imitation is 007, and 007 is most talked about by various Bond girls. Therefore, William's jerk face is also surrounded by various spy girls. Heidi Shaw, with her unique temperament, was favored by William at first sight, which is not surprising, but she is not an ordinary woman. "Are you sure you like strong women?" Adam looked weird. William felt a pain in his heart, but he recalled those nights in Las Vegas. He could only lie there and pretend to be dead, with cold tears sliding down his eyes. And the scene where he was forced by the rich woman to go to the next door to ask for medicine, but he happened to run into Adam, whom he least wanted to run into, and then he was pretending to be cool by Adam. When he thought of this, his heart ached, but the temperament of the blonde girl before really attracted him. "I like it." William gritted his teeth. "Why don't you think about it again?" Adam advised. "The market outside is different now. It used to be steel wool, but now it has been upgraded to vibranium steel wool. Believe me, Heidi is the real vibranium steel wool Valkyrie. You can't afford to provoke it." "It's okay." William broke the drawer and showed his cards, looking at Adam calmly. "I like this." "Awesome." Adam could only give a thumbs up. "Can you give me the contact information?" William asked. "Sorry, no." Adam shook his head. "Why?" William was stunned. "Let's not talk about your relationship with Alice. It's not good for you to do this." Adam looked at him and said sincerely, "As your classmate and colleague, I can't just watch you commit a crime. Heidi is not yet an adult. What do you want to do as an old man who is almost 30? You are not Romeo and Juliet." "Impossible." William was stunned and said in disbelief, "How could she not be an adult yet?" "Believe me, she is really just a little kid." Adam laughed and said, "Temperament can be deceiving, but the rings of time can't." Her brother is only 17 years old." William saw that Adam was not joking and left in despair. "Damn it, why are the women he likes the ones he can't get?" Chapter 840 Legally Blonde, Medical Center, Green Clinic. After retreating from William in shame, Adam received a call from Leonard and came to pick up a heart surgery case. This was Leonard's patient. Leonard hoped that Adam would participate. "Thank you, Dad." Rachel's second sister Amy, holding the warm check Leonard had just written, kissed Leonard, waved the check proudly at Adam who walked in, and then left in high heels. Alas, Leonard sighed helplessly. Any new activities, Amy? Adam smiled. Don't mention it. Leonard smiled bitterly and shook his head. I used to think Rachel would be the daughter who gave me the most headaches. Then I thought it was Amy. And then I thought it was Jill. And now I finally realized that Amy is still the one who gives me the most headaches. It will be fine slowly. Adam comforted. Rachel is successful in her career and has a happy family now. But Amy is already in her 20s. Leonard complained. Rachel graduated from college at the age of 22 and ran away from marriage. After a few years, when she reached Amy's age, she had already supported herself and grown up. Do you see any signs of this in Amy? She hasn't even had a job. It doesn't matter as long as you don't cause big trouble. Adam smiled. There's nothing wrong with being a rich and idle person for a lifetime. I hope so. Leonard nodded. I heard that Rachel is going to hold a big party for Emma's first birthday. Will you go then? Of course. Adam shrugged. If I don't go, I'm sure Rachel will bring Emma to the hospital to make trouble for me and condemn how failed I am as a godfather. Haha. Leonard couldn't help laughing and said, you young people should get together more often. With your current level, you don't need to stay in the hospital every day. I like staying in the hospital. It's intoxicating to treat patients and save lives. Adam smiled and said, by the way, how is Jill doing in Los Angeles? She's about to graduate, right? Yeah. Leonard had a smile on his face. She will graduate next May. I didn't have any expectations for her, but I didn't expect her to perform well, at least much better than her second sister Amy. She is very talented in fashion, just like Rachel. Adam praised. And she is smarter than Rachel in that she knows where her strengths are and directly studied fashion purchasing. Unlike Rachel, who first studied psychology and then changed her major because of the difficulty in parking, she went around in circles before finding the current fashion purchasing job that suits her development. If Rachel was as visionary as Jill, she would probably be a senior executive of Ralph Lauren Fashion Company by now. Jill and Amy both like to learn from Rachel. Leonard's mouth curves more clearly. Amy only learns Rachel's shortcomings, while Jill learns both advantages and disadvantages, and also innovates. She got full marks in every subject in the fashion purchasing department of the University of Los Angeles. She can instantly remember hundreds of details about things that interest her. Just like your high-definition image memory. Her professor said she is gifted. She is also the president of the school's Triangle Girls Association and has been a referee for the close-fitting white coat competition. Seeing Leonard smile like an old father, talking endlessly about the honors of his youngest daughter Jill, Adam smiled and nodded, agreeing from time to time. At this time, Leonard needed an audience who would nod and smile and agree. But Jill is indeed different. The College Girls Club is really a training ground. Since Jill was elected as the president of the Triangle Girls Association of the University of Los Angeles last year, although she still relies on her parents, she will not use the money she relies on her parents to buy sailboats for her friends at will. She really understands things, with her talent and professional learning in the fashion purchasing industry. After graduation, she may soon surpass her elder sister Rachel. By the way, I also want to thank you for buying her a blouse. Leonard thought of something and smiled. It seems that since she started raising blues, she has really developed a sense of responsibility. As long as she likes it. Adam's mouth twitched. Last year, when Jill ran for the president of the Triangle Girls Club, Adam, as a close friend of the Green family, naturally gave her a gift. But it was not the sports car that Jill had been dreaming of. Because Jill crashed Leonard's new car last time, Adam and her agreed that if she didn't get into trouble or get scolded by Leonard within a year, he would buy her a sports car. But the result was that Jill saved Adam money as expected. Adam gave her a fine Chihuahua, which also cost tens of thousands of dollars. Jill was very satisfied and loved it like a treasure. She carried it with her wherever she went every day. This was nothing, after all. It was a pleasant thing for the recipient to like the gift you gave so much. Unlike Jill's elder sister Rachel, every time she received a gift, she would return it almost the next day, exchange it for cash, and then use the money to buy something she liked. Too picky. But what made Adam uncomfortable and speechless was that Jill named the chihuahua he gave her as Bruce. Adam's first reaction was to hear it as Boxer. Soul-level translation. Emma's first birthday party next month. I don't know if she will bring her boyfriend. Leonard muttered. Adam, do you know the Huntington family? They have been senators for 5 generations. I'm worried that he and Jill are just playing around. Don't worry. Adam smiled and said, Jill is so outstanding. If this guy doesn't know how to cherish her, it's his loss. Besides, what's wrong with the senator's family? We don't need them. Jill is also a medical family. Yes, yes. Leonard was comforted. He is a commoner who has worked hard to get to this position today. How can he be considered a medical family? But now Adam has taken the initiative to put himself in the Green family, and he is saying this as his medical successor and Gil's brother. This can barely be considered a medical family, and with Adam's achievements and billionaire wealth, their Green medical family is indeed not much worse than the Huntington senator family. After all, everyone knows that in the world of American TV series, the billionaires are the masters of this world. When he comes next time, Adam, you accompany me to meet him and see what he is like. Leonard shook his head and said, now Jill has him in her heart and eyes, and she can't wait to marry him immediately. I am always a little worried that she will be sad. You also know that those who play with the law have dirty hearts. I heard that this Warner Huntington is going to Harvard Law School after graduation next year, and he is also going to be a lawyer in the future, and then jump from a lawyer to a senator. This is the tradition of their family. No one can live without each other. Adam smiled and said, sadness is also a kind of growth. Rachel was also sad for a while after she ran away from marriage, but she got better later. Facts have proved that her choice is a good thing. You also said that Jill is good at learning Rachel's strengths and weaknesses and bringing forth new ideas. This Warner Huntington is sincere to her, so it's fine. If not, maybe Jill will usher in a gorgeous turn after being sad for a while. At that time, the pride of the Green family may be Jill. Ha ha ha. Leonard laughed. Although he began to look at Jill differently, he never thought that Jill would become the pride of the Green family. As long as Jill is not like Amy, he will be comforted. If Jill can be like Rachel, he will be satisfied. As for Jill becoming the pride of the Green family, it is too magical, and he is afraid that his heart can't bear it. P.S. Thank you book friend 2020213173835311 for the reward. There are only 2 chapters today, and 4 chapters will continue tomorrow. Please forgive me. Chapter 841 Peggy, I need you. Medical Center. Adam, this is a new list of applications. The chief surgeon handed a list to Adam. When are you going to start the second operation? Since the death of the first Cuckold King, Adam has not conducted the second clinical research on virus elimination of tumors, and the chief surgeon is very concerned about this. This kind of brain tumor case that is doomed to die whether surgery is performed or not is not uncommon. Adam's pioneering clinical research has set off a wave in the medical community. In particular, many top experts in related fields, including Dr. House, were invited to brainstorm together. Adam's own strength has been recognized by professionals, and he has the endorsement of top neurosurgeons such as Dr. Shept. Therefore, many neurosurgeons, when they took over such cases and gave up, kindly recommended Adam to their patients and asked them to consider participating in Adam's pioneering clinical surgery. Try it out. Therefore, Adam's optional patients continue to accumulate. If it weren't for the Professional Ethics Committee's supervision, setting a red line of 12 consecutive cases. If someone else were to do this clinical research, with so many cases in such a long time, I'm afraid they would have finished 12 cases long ago. Success or failure, the result has already been known. However, Adam was aiming for success, so he deliberately slowed down the pace, accumulated the factors for success, and treated the remaining 11 chances carefully. This made the chief of surgery anxious, because many patients cannot afford to be delayed. They are eager to try and keep urging, let's choose him. Adam was actually prepared. Seeing this, he took the latest application list, glanced at it, and circled a name. Are you sure? The chief of surgery took a look and was a little entangled. Adam, he just joined. Otherwise you can choose one from the front of the list. No, It's him. Adam shook his head and said, each of the remaining 11 chances is critical. For the second operation, I need a good sign, so I need to find a patient with a strong will. Mr. Darren Covington is a soldier who has participated in wars abroad and survived the cruel battlefield, so he is the most suitable candidate. Okay. The chief of surgery paused and nodded helplessly. This is your project. You have the final say. Thank you, Chief. Adam smiled. After the chief surgeon left, Adam looked at Darren Covington's resume and smiled. He didn't lie. The strong-willed soldier was indeed a good case choice, but Adam didn't confess everything. That is, no matter how well he prepared, the 11 remaining patients, the earlier they were, the lower the hope of success. Darren Covington, since he was able to fight for world peace all over the world, was obviously a highly conscious person, and naturally he would be very willing to contribute his strength to the lives and well-being of others. Doctors and patients have a spirit of dedication, and those confusions and struggles of life and death can be avoided to the greatest extent. Adam made a decision. Soon Darren Covington, accompanied by his family and the staff of the Veterans Administration, came to the hospital. Dr. Duncan, thank you for letting Darren join this project. The staff of the Veterans Administration thanked him. You want to inject the virus into my child's brain? Darren's father, Mr. Covington, a bald veteran, looked at Adam. It's not the brain, it's a tumor. Darren explained quickly. The virus will attack the tumor and shrink it. Lexi explained. When it shrinks to a level that can be operated on, we can remove the tumor through surgery. It sounds very risky, Mr. Covington said worriedly. Yes, Adam nodded. Even the most mature surgeries have certain risks, not to mention this kind of groundbreaking surgery, which is why we are so cautious. In addition to the most thorough medical preparations, we also invited top mathematicians to model Mr. Covington's case, control the variables as much as possible, optimize the surgical plan, and increase the success rate of the operation. Can this be modeled? The staff of the Veterans Administration was stunned. He is actually a medical soldier and knows a lot about medical methods. But it is precisely because of this understanding that he is so surprised. Mathematics is the foundation of all science. Adam smiled and said, as long as mathematicians are given enough data, why can't they model it? But there are too many variables, right? The staff of the Veterans Administration was puzzled. That's why we are doing exploratory modeling, and we control the variables as much as possible. Adam explained, if everything is under control, then why are we hesitating? We can already book the success of the operation, the speed at which the virus devours the tumor, the reasonable distribution of the injection points, how to shrink the tumor as quickly as possible, and minimize the damage to the surrounding normal tissues. These can all be roughly optimized and designed. The difficulty lies in the mutation of the virus. Once the virus is injected into the tumor and begins to devour the tumor, even if it is beneficial to the human body, the human immune system will still recognize the virus and then attack it. During the attack, the virus will mutate. This mutation is uncontrollable. What we have to do is to reduce the possibility of mutation as much as possible while shrinking the tumor as soon as possible to the point where surgery can be performed, and timely control and deal with the changes in the disease after the mutation. We have completed the early virus optimization. After the MRI and cord scans are taken, the modeling will also be carried out simultaneously to optimize the surgical steps. For the subsequent surgery and post-operative disease control, we can only do our best. Whether it is successful depends entirely on God's will. Mr. Covington, do you have any questions? It looks very scientific. Old Mr. Covington shook his head. Everything that can be done has been done, and Darren is left to God. Everything depends on his will. He's fine. At this time, a handsome soldier walked in from outside. He survived the battlefield. He faced risks. He can do it. Everyone looked at him. Hello, sir. The handsome soldier saluted the staff of the Veteran Administration. The staff of the administration saluted back, and Darren's father smiled with relief. Your father called me. The handsome soldier looked at Darren. Dad, are you going to call the whole platoon? Darren turned his head uncomfortably and looked at his father. When fighting the disease, you need friends by your side. Old Mr. Covington smiled and patted his son's hand. You are comrades, And this is also a battlefield. Of course, he must be by your side. Darren then looked at his comrade. The two smiled at each other. Adam saw it, tried his best to control his expression, and ordered, "Melendez, Gray, take Darren for a checkup." "Yes." The little guy and Lexi agreed. Adam smiled at everyone, and left the ward under the focused gaze of the handsome soldier. "O'Malley, stop hanging around here, go to the free clinic, you're in charge today." Adam saw George running over, obviously wanting to join the operation, so he couldn't help but order. George was disappointed. Adam ignored him, not to mention that the free clinic really needed someone to be in charge. Even if it didn't, he wouldn't let George participate in the operation. Just kidding. The weird atmosphere in the ward just now when the comrades almost fought with bayonets in public was still vivid in his mind. How could Adam let George, who was always considered a gay, join in? All variables must be controlled as much as possible before the operation. Adam put aside these messy thoughts, dialed the number of his assistant Lisa, and after handing over the call, he smiled and said, "Peggy, come over, I need you." Chapter 842 What kind of fairy existence is Peggy? Medical Center. MRI room. Darren was taking an MRI scan here, boss. Under the attentive guidance of the nurse, Peggy and Lisa came over. Lisa was the first to greet them. "You are here." Adam was overjoyed. He walked over and pulled Peggy to the display screen and pointed to Peggy. "This is the tumor." Tumors are not regular. Such a complex structure involves calculations that are obviously not something Adam can handle. It still depends on Peggy, the #1 genius and beautiful mathematician. Peggy looked at the scanned images taken from various angles on the screen and easily built a model of the tumor in her brain. Then Adam began to explain other tissue structures of the human brain on the spot to help Peggy continuously enrich the model structure. How does the virus spread in the tumor and destroy the tumor after being injected into the tumor? What degree of illness will be caused after the surrounding tissues are invaded by the virus? How does the human immune system work? Adam explained in detail all the variables that might have an impact, and built a model in his brain at the same time. He and Peggy have cooperated many times, and there is no need to draw on the whiteboard at all. The cosmic starry sky background in their minds automatically merged and synchronized. The model built is almost viewing the same object from the same or different perspectives. If it is a movie with special effects, this state may be demonstrated to a certain extent. In a starry sky, Adam and Peggy stood in the air, and an irregular gray mass formed in the middle. That is a tumor. Then, as Adam narrated, layers of colorful light groups flashed, wrapping the gray mass from all spatial angles, and gradually forming a complete brain. Blood circulation, nerve reaction, virus-killing tumor cells, immune cell generation, hunting viruses, tumor shrinkage, and surrounding tissue damage were all demonstrated clearly and vividly. Adam and Peggy paced around this glowing brain, observing from all angles, sometimes bumping into each other, passing through each other without any delay. Outsiders could not see it. They could only see Adam and Peggy sitting there, except for Adam talking. Peggy sometimes asked a few questions, and the two did not move. "Is she the top mathematician?" Old Mr. Covington looked puzzled and incredible. "Yes." Lexi looked at the backs of the two people pressed together with a complicated expression. "How old is she?" Old Mr. Covington couldn't understand. "Is she 18 years old?" Mathematics is a science for true geniuses. If you can do it, you can do it. And if you can't do it, you can't do it. The little man explained, "It has nothing to do with age." Many genius mathematicians have shown mathematical talents far beyond others at a very young age. The problems they can see through at a glance may be something that other top mathematicians will never understand in their lifetime. For example, there was a mathematician named Ramanujan in the Three Kingdoms. He was born in poverty and had never received formal mathematics education. However, he just bought a book with 5,000 mathematical theorems and formulas, and then proved them one by one in his own way. In the end, he just wrote some theorems and formulas and conquered mathematicians all over the world. The formulas left behind are enough for generations of mathematicians in later generations to study and never be able to overcome them in their lifetime. Dr. Adler, even if he is not as good as Ramanujan, is also a super genius of this kind. Old Mr. Covington was stunned. He was just a soldier, playing with muscle guns and cannons. How could he know these legends? Even if he couldn't understand how awesome it was, but the shock of being inexplicably powerful was still very strong. You should feel extremely fortunate. Lisa, the assistant, was immediately displeased when she saw that Mr. Covington dared to doubt Peggy. She squinted and said, "You are a soldier. Do you know how many organizations have come to Peggy in recent years? NSA, CIA, FBI. They all hope that she can work for them and use her super genius brain to study superstring theory, chaos mathematics, advanced algorithms. To put it simply, they hope that Peggy can help them crack passwords that other people and computers cannot crack. For example, the location of a secret base abroad. I believe you know the value of this kind of confidential information. Do you still doubt Peggy's strength that can keep these people inviting her? Let Peggy help you with your son's affairs. You did something that your boss's boss couldn't do. ... She didn't agree. Why? Mr. Covington was stunned again. With that, he completely understood what kind of god Peggy was, but then he was puzzled as to why Peggy rejected all of them. In the eyes of this soldier, these are all patriots. Why? Lisa complained. Peggy's wisdom is for the progress of all mankind, not for you to crack the code so that you can bomb those secret bases and kill countless innocent lives. Those are rebels and terrorists, old Mr. Covington retorted. Killing them is for world peace. Do you really believe it? Lisa pouted and said, after the bombing, you are sent to maintain the so-called local order. In the process, many of your comrades will die, and when you survivors return home with countless scars and battlefield syndrome, you will find that the jobs you need have been transferred to the previous battlefield as the factory relocated. Those locals who fought with you to death finally robbed your jobs, because these once wealthy locals have become impoverished because of the war and have to accept beggar wages of less than $1 a day. And you will find that your original dream is nothing more than cheap local crude oil, so that oil companies can use the war panic to raise domestic oil prices and make a fortune. Even if the oil price is cheaper at that time, what's the use? You who are unemployed can't afford it at all. In the end, many of you can only endure endless trauma and pain and live on the streets. Those who tell you that you are patriots will not pay any attention to you at this time. You may be patriots to them, but you are just patriots who can be consumed and mass-produced. You are insignificant, will not bring world peace, and are nothing. Old Mr. Covington could not accept such heresy, but he didn't know where to refute it. His family is a family of soldiers, so he lived a good life. But he knew that many of his comrades in arms were indeed suffering from various mental and physical tortures, as Lisa said, and many of them became homeless. Okay, Lisa. Seeing that Lisa was getting more and more explicit, Adam had to interrupt the deep modeling with Peggy and interrupted Lisa. What we are dealing with now is Darren's tumor and saving Darren's life. Everything else has nothing to do with us. Oh, Lisa agreed quickly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 843, Peggy in the Operating Room. Medical Center. MRI Room. Darren and his friends, led by Lexi, went back to the ward to rest. Adam and Peggy looked at Darren's brain images and began to study how to inject the virus. Location, distribution, dosage size, time point. They kept simulating in the brain and worked until the evening. During this time, Christina came over and wanted to participate, but Adam was just a data provider. She could do nothing but stare blankly and doubt her IQ. Okay, let's do it. With the help of Peggy, Adam finally determined the surgical plan. Can I go into the operating room to see? Peggy suddenly said. You want to go into the operating room? Adam was surprised. We are opening the skull. The scene will not be too friendly. Most people can't stand it. The MRI images and your description are not the same as the real thing, Peggy explained. I want to see it with my own eyes. It's more real and more conceptual. Besides, I have never seen you work, and I am also very curious. I will just change my mind. Okay. Adam couldn't help laughing and agreed. Oh, Christina couldn't help but remind him, Adam, are you sure? Last month, a resident arranged for his girlfriend to watch the operation in the observation room. The hospital warned and punished him. Have you forgotten? You want to take Peggy directly into the operating room now? Peggy is different, Adam immediately retorted. She is the mathematical consultant of this clinical research project and a member of the project team. It is reasonable for us to inspect the progress of the project together. Just be happy. Christina was speechless. She had never seen such an Adam before. I've never seen such a thing in my life. It's settled. After Adam refuted Christina, he began to tell Peggy about some operating room rules. After all, a visit is a visit and it cannot affect the operation. He fully agreed and supported Peggy's desire to see how he works and change his mind. A while ago, a cultural resistance expert used a system to pretend to be a top mathematician. When filming a movie, he used a brand new method to solve the Poincare conjecture, one of the 7 major mathematical problems in the world. In an Easter egg, it is said that it was a mathematician who used the way of making movies to relax and change his mind. It's just that the filming was too professional, so that others regarded him as a great film director, and forgot that he was just a top mathematician who was relaxing and changing his mind. He can do it, why can't Peggy? Maybe after visiting the operating room and listening to Adam's medical knowledge, Peggy directly became a legendary female doctor. One day, when she was performing an operation, inspiration burst out, and she directly wrote the proof process of one of the 7 major mathematical problems on the patient's forehead or heart. Okay, medical surgery is not like making a movie. It's good to have inspiration. It's absolutely not allowed to engrave words on the forehead and heart. But for a super genius like Peggy, it is normal to become a supermaster by playing the leisure activity of changing the brain. In the future, when Sheldon is at a low point in his career, he wants to participate in Leonard's career to get through the low period. Watching Rajesh work for 10 minutes, he designed a simple software that can replace Rajesh. Don't disbelieve in talent. The gap between ordinary people and geniuses. Reality is more cruel than you think. Although Adam can often give Peggy inspiration, it is really good to change his mind occasionally. In addition, he is very handsome when working. After seeing this, Peggy will definitely turn into a welfare girl when she returns. Of course, Adam is not greedy for any welfare girl, but just wants to give Peggy the best scientific research environment. This is for the welfare of all mankind. After the discussion, Adam took Peggy and Christina, who insisted on joining, to the ward to prepare to determine the surgical plan with the Covington father and son. Why are you staying outside? Adam saw Lexi standing at the door and greeted them directly when they came. He was immediately moved. Lexi was very entangled, glancing at Peggy from time to time, just like Penny and Bernie, who didn't want Sheldon to hear the content that was not suitable for children. Is it inconvenient inside? Adam changed his words. Yeah, Lexi said vaguely. Darren and his comrades are reminiscing inside. Adam's mouth twitched. Fight with bayonets, so implicit. Shouldn't we hurry up? Peggy said in surprise. Adam coughed lightly, not wanting Peggy to see the scene. He was even more afraid that something might happen to his eyes, and he would have a psychological shadow. So he told Lexi, "Gray, go tell them that we will start the operation soon. Don't get hurt." Injured? How can you get hurt while reminiscing about the past? Peggy asked curiously. Adam winked at Peggy. I'll explain it to you later. Yes, Dr. Duncan. Lexi deliberately raised her voice, then knocked on the door, paused again, and then pushed the door open to go in. At this time, Mr. Covington and the staff of the GI Retirement Administration also came back. Adam then took Peggy in, told them the surgical plan, and after obtaining their consent, he immediately prepared for the operation. Dr. Adler, this is another perfect combination of medicine and mathematics. I look forward to your cooperation with Dr. Duncan again. The chief of surgery was outside the operating room, looking at Peggy, who had changed into surgical clothes and was about to go in, with a kind look. Adam glanced at Christina, who was stunned at the sight, and gave her a knowing look. See, Peggy, learn from me. This is how to clean and disinfect. After entering the cleaning and disinfection room, Adam began to teach Peggy how to clean and disinfect. Are you sure you can do the operation well with Peggy next to you? Christina complained, looking at your fiery eyes. "I'm afraid there will be medical accidents." "What do you know?" Adam said seriously. "That is the fire of hope. With Peggy, our second operation in this clinical research has hope. It's normal for me to have a positive look." Haha. Christina didn't believe Adam's nonsense at all. She knew that men all like the temptation of uniforms. And the uniforms of doctors and nurses are classics among classics. Seeing Peggy wearing surgical gowns and masks, with only her smart and beautiful eyes exposed, she couldn't help but look at her a few more times, let alone Adam. "Tonight is a great day to heal and save lives. Let's get started." As the lead surgeon, Adam glanced at Peggy standing by, then looked around at everyone and announced with a smile, "Scalpel." The most knowledgeable nurse immediately handed over the scalpel. Adam skillfully began the operation. Peggy curiously watched Adam open the skull and reveal the source of human wisdom. Adam paused, and seeing that Peggy was not unusual, he motioned Peggy to come forward and let her watch clearly, and compare it with the previous image scan and his description to correct the cognitive bias in the details. Chapter 844. Being a Father is Too Difficult. Medical Center. Operating Room. In order to let Peggy change her mind and enhance her inspiration to the greatest extent, Adam behaved very professionally and completely threw away all the distractions such as welfare girls. Concentrate on being himself. The process of injecting the virus was successful. At the end of the operation, Darren was still alive. This is a good sign. Of course, the follow-up is the key, especially tonight. Darren's immune system will discover the invasion of the virus and launch a fierce attack. At that time, a series of critical conditions may occur. Therefore, Adam can only temporarily suppress the idea of chatting with Peggy in depth at night and want to ask her if she is interested in being a part-time medical staff. He took the 4 children to wait in the ward, ready to rescue at any time. Of course, Adam will do a series of data collection to provide more solid data for Peggy's subsequent calculations and lay a good foundation for the success of the next case. Adam reluctantly said goodbye to Peggy and let her go back to New Jersey first. She is not Adam and does not have such strong endurance. Staying up late is not a good thing for her. Lisa skillfully carried a bag of things, which was the surgical gown worn by Peggy. This was Peggy's first time in the operating room, which was quite memorable. Without Adam saying anything, Lisa also disinfected and packed the surgical gown she took off. Ross, after sending Peggy away, Adam returned to the ward, but suddenly received a call from Ross. "You came to the medical center? I have something here, come over." Even though Adam knew that Ross came to the emergency room, he had no intention of going to the emergency room to see him. The focus of tonight was to protect Darren, the second patient in the clinical research project. Judging from Ross's high-pitched voice, it was probably nothing serious, so Adam was too lazy to run over. "What's wrong with you?" Adam saw Ross covering his hand at the nurse station opposite Darren's ward. "What's wrong with your hand?" "It hurts, it hurts." Ross looked embarrassed. "Come here and let me see." Adam motioned him to come over, checked his hand, and found that the 4th and 5th metacarpal bones of his right hand were obviously swollen, and asked in surprise, "Who did you hit?" "Don't mention it." Ross smiled bitterly. "What are you angry about? Did you hit the wall?" Adam glanced at him. "How do you know?" Ross looked at Adam in shock. "You broke your bones." Adam teased. If it was Phoebe, Monica, or even Rachel, they would have used their fists to hit others, but you are Ross. Although you have a bad temper, what else can you hit besides hitting the wall with your fist? Don't. Ross's face suddenly turned black, and he was speechless. Because this analysis was so reasonable, even he, the person involved, was speechless. "Why did you hit the wall?" Adam asked with a smile. "Could it be Rachel?" "No." Ross looked left and right, and saw that the nurses were all looking at this side with a smile, and he was hesitant to speak. "Okay, come with me." Adam knew that he had something to hide, and he also stood up and said considerately, "I'll take you to take an X-ray, and then help you fix your bones. There's no one here. You can tell me now." "It's Ben." Ross looked left and right again, and then whispered. "What a surprise." Adam was not surprised at all. What kind of prank did he play that made you smash the wall? Did he cover the toilet with plastic wrap and make you pee all over the floor? Or did he replace your sugar with salt and make you drink salt coffee? which was so salty? Or did he draw lines on your face and put a copy of the word shit behind you to embarrass you at school? Could it be that he learned new tricks from his interesting Aunt Rachel when she was a child? If so, it is reasonable for you to smash the wall in anger. I heard Leonard say that Rachel was really a little witch when she was a child. Her methods were really lovable and hateful. I hope Emma doesn't learn from her mother, but Ben is a boy and doesn't need to be pampered. He is really too naughty and should be punished. Of course, don't use violence. None of them, Ross interrupted. I can tolerate these pranks, but I really can't stand watching Ben do his homework. God, I really doubt whether he is my own child. He doesn't have the demeanor of a top student when I was a child. You are not a top student, Adam kindly reminded, and believe me, Ben is indeed your biological son. Genetic information cannot deceive people. He understood it completely. In the previous life, watching children do homework was a difficult problem. Many parents would collapse, seeing that their children did not do their homework well. They were anxious and angry. They could not bear to hit their children, so they could only sulk by themselves. Hitting and kicking the wall by themselves was just a routine operation. It was not uncommon for them to go back to the bedroom and cry loudly, or even collapse in public. And what was different from Adam's previous life was that in the previous life, even if these parents broke their bones by hitting the wall, went to the hospital, and risked being laughed at, they still dared to tell the truth. But in the world of American TV series, such things cannot be said in public, because it is easy to attract the attention of child protection organizations. You see your child doing homework and hit the wall in anger, which means he has a tendency to violence. Once reported by medical staff, there is no doubt that after going through a set of procedures, you will be half dead if you don't die. Maybe in the end, even the custody of the child will be deprived. And Ross Ben has a record of violent tendencies. He was expelled from the Museum of Prehistoric Life because he saw his good brother Chandler and his sister Monica hugging and chewing on each other, and he suddenly became emotional and yelled. At that time, the curator of their museum happened to come over and witnessed this scene with his own eyes, and Ross no longer had the opportunity to prove that he was not irritable and had no violent tendencies. With these unfavorable factors, Ross could not be careful. Adam, how do you think I should manage Ben? Ross looked worried after Adam straightened his bones. You are a teacher, he is your son, you can manage him as you want. Adam was too lazy to care about what Ben looked like, and shook his head and said, if you ask me, this is also your fault. He lives with two mothers and usually plays with Barbie dolls. You were afraid that he would be gay since he was a child, so you had to put a soldier in his hands. Do you regret it now? Then I would rather he be so naughty now than play with Barbie dolls. Ross's face was very dark, and he didn't know whether it was because of pain or anger. It's okay if you like it, but don't do this next time. It's easy to get into trouble. Adam ignored him and just warned, and if you dare to do the same to Emma, don't blame me for teaching you how to really break down the wall. Do I dare? When Ross heard this, he was so aggrieved that he almost cried. You said this, Rachel said it, and Dr. Green said it. Who can I afford to offend? Is Emma still my daughter? You tell Leonard this. Adam smiled and said, I think after he hears it, he will be happy to have a good talk with you. Then we'll see who has the louder voice between you. Ross. Chapter 845 Adam's Hand Meets God's Hand. Medical Center. After curing Ross and sending him away, Adam returned to the ward to take care of the second patient in the clinical research project. Get out of here. As soon as he returned, he heard the violent roar of Mr. Covington. Darren's handsome comrade came out awkwardly. What's going on? Adam glanced at Lexi. Lexi explained in a low voice. As expected. It was not surprising. Darren's handsome comrade saw Darren lying there like Snow White who had eaten a poisoned apple, motionless, and couldn't help but want to cast magic. But he didn't expect to be caught by Mr. Covington. Mr. Covington hated witchcraft and magic the most, and he asked his son's comrades to come to accompany his son to defeat the disease, not to roll in with each other. Really let the wolf into the house. This incident seemed to have become a fuse. Darren, whose condition was originally stable, seemed to feel the conflict between his old father and his close comrade, and the alarms of the monitor sounded one after another. Damn it! Adam cursed inwardly, and rushed forward with the 4 children, asking the confused and regretful old Mr. Covington to step aside and start the rescue. The rescue lasted for half the night. Old Mr. Covington saw Adam and his friends rescue his son from the hands of death again and again, and just stood aside with his mouth covered, his body trembling slightly. "I know that I am here and it makes you uncomfortable, but I have been trained to never abandon my comrades when they fall." Darren's comrade, who had not left, also got the news, rushed up, and shouted to old Mr. Covington, who stood with his back to him and blocked the door. "Our comrade has fallen, and we all love him. I just want to know how he is now." Old Mr. Covington slowly turned his head, revealing tears on his face. "No." Darren's comrade immediately understood and squatted on the ground. Adam shook his head. He tried his best. But human power is limited. After letting Mr. Covington and Darren's comrades say goodbye to Darren, Adam took the 4 children and sent Darren to the basement to start dissection, check brain damage, and collect scientific research data. Blood and cerebrospinal fluid have been extracted and sent to the laboratory. Although Darren is dead, this time is much more valuable than the first case of the cuckold king. During the rescue process, what kind of disease occurred at what time and what kind of cause, all of which were imprinted in Adam's mind. The offensive and defensive battles between viruses, tumors, and the human immune system are constantly deduced like 3D animation videos. These are the most valuable data. After Adam collected the data through dissection with the 4 children, he sewed Darren up again, and even directly replaced the undertaker to tidy up Darren's appearance. Then he went to the laboratory. The virus has indeed mutated. Looking at the virus under the microscope, which has changed from a white, fat, and funny round face to a square face, Adam shook his head helplessly. The optimized virus was originally a targeted attack only on tumor cells, and would not cause any major impact on the human body. But under the attack of the human immune system, which was originally a friendly force, it was so angry that it broke its defense and exploded on the spot. It is said that the outer circle is round and the inner circle is square. Now the angry virus has revealed its cards directly, stopped pretending, and began to let go of itself, becoming a middle school student. Not only did it have a square face, but it also had a permed hairstyle and began to attack indiscriminately. In the end, Darren died of viral encephalitis, and the rescue was ineffective. The virus, tumor, and human immune system all died together. After all this was done, the sky was bright. A new day began at the medical center. Adam asked the little man and Carter to take charge of the free clinic, let O'Malley and Lexi rest, and he went to New Jersey with various data. At this time, Peggy had not woken up yet, but Adam could not wait to study the condition with her and provide a successful foundation for the 3rd patient and clinical research. This was a small step for Adam, but a big step for mankind, so he woke her up with a slap. With her dissatisfied hum, he pulled her directly into a state of soul, leaving her body and talking to the stars without opening her eyes. Fortunately, the data Adam collected this time was rich enough, and many of them overturned previous theories. According to the saying in the American TV world, "You rock my world," and it was not the kind of cliches that Monica fell asleep during the communication and closed her eyes to deal with her husband Chandler. It was not the kind of self-praise that Barney had. Adam directly overturned Peggy's world with rich new data. In the starry sky world in her mind, Peggy looked at the Light Man 2.0 that Adam re-evolved next to the Light Man with new data, and fell into deep thought. After providing the data, Adam, in addition to serving tea and water, was reading and studying, and was ready for consultation at any time. This felt good, until the phone rang, interrupting this beautiful tranquility. "Okay, I'll go over now." Adam frowned and answered the phone, and found that it was the chief of surgery who called him. After listening to what happened, his eyes lit up, agreed, and hung up the phone. "Peggy, I have to go to the hospital for something. If you need any help, just call me." Adam stood up, told her, packed up, and walked out. Peggy frowned, waved her hand, and her mind was still immersed in the Light Man 2.0 in the starry sky in her mind. Medical center. Adam rushed over with speed and passion. Well. Christina stood stealthily in the corridor. When she saw Adam coming, she couldn't help but tease, Isn't this our magical Adam's hand? Today you have bumped into the legendary God's right hand. Do you want to go in? Adam smiled. Christina's smile froze. If she could go in, she would have rushed in long ago. In the conference room, it was Walter Tapery, one of the founders of surgery, nicknamed God's right hand. This is a legend older than Alice Gray. Wait a minute, I'll tell you how it feels when Adam's hand bumps into God's right hand. Adam teased and pushed the door open and walked in. In the conference room, the chief surgeon and Dr. Burke were sitting with an old man in his 70s or 80s. The faces of the three of them were not very good. "Adam, you're here." The chief surgeon was relieved when he saw Adam push the door in. He stood up and introduced the two parties. "Adam, this is my mentor, Dr. Walter Tapery, God's right hand." Adam stepped forward and stretched out his hand and said, "It's an honor to meet you, Dr. Tapery. I have been using your modified bypass therapy. I spent an afternoon thinking it up." God's right hand couldn't help laughing. "Wow, just one afternoon?" Adam exclaimed. "It took 6 years," the chief surgeon couldn't help correcting. Adam immediately glanced at the director. "How did you become the chief surgeon?" Everyone knows the interesting story behind the famous modified bypass therapy. It took 6 years, not one afternoon. If the old senior wants to brag and show off in front of the younger generation, then you have to cooperate. "Weber, you are so boring." God's right hand couldn't help complaining. He. The chief surgeon just smiled. It was obvious that they had a good relationship with each other. He looked at Adam and said, "Walter, this is Dr. Adam Duncan, the star of our medical center. The brightest star in the entire medical community." God's right hand reached out and held Adam's hand, looking at Adam deeply. "I heard that you were once called God's hand, and later changed it to Adam's hand. I am sick and need surgery, but my colleagues and all the doctors, including your chief of cardiothoracic surgery, Dr. Burke, dare not operate on me. They are afraid that I will die in their hands, and then be remembered in medical history as the one who killed God's right hand. Now tell me, do you, Adam's hand, dare to operate on me, God's right hand?" Chapter 846 Dr. Duncan, do you dare? Medical Center. Surgical meeting room. Is the condition so serious? Adam glanced at Dr. Burke, who was smiling bitterly. Only when Dr. Burke and his team felt that they could not handle the condition would they shirk their responsibilities, fearing that they would bear historical responsibility. Otherwise, everyone would probably rush to perform surgery on God's right hand. This is not only a symbol of academic status, but also an extreme expansion of personal connections. The man in front of him is one of the founders of modern surgery. Just look at how many great men like the director of surgery are his disciples. He is truly a man of many students. Those with lower status, even if they are foolish enough to dare to do it, God's right hand will not ask them to do it. They are neither up nor down. Therefore, they were awkwardly stuck here. Walter suffers from aortic and mitral stenosis, tricuspid regurgitation, and needs double valve replacement and tricuspid valve repair, the director of surgery said carefully. "What else?" Adam nodded. "If it were just this, it wouldn't scare so many famous doctors away from doing it. I also have chronic atrial fibrillation, pulmonary hypertension and left atrial thrombosis." God's right hand began to count his various underlying diseases with his fingers. "These doctors think that if they operate on me, they will kill me. You can't blame them for that." Adam shook his head. At this age, he still has this kind of negative buffs. Even if he doesn't look at the specific medical records, he feels that it's not good. It's no wonder that Dr. Burke backed off, because if he takes the case, there is a 99% chance that he will die in his hands. By then, the medical community will not care about the problems that other famous doctors dare not take. Those famous doctors who dare not take the case will only say that Dr. Burke is not good enough and that he killed God's right hand out of arrogance, causing the entire medical community to lose the white jade pillar that supports the sky and the purple gold beam that spans the sea. Then Dr. Burke will become a negative example for all future medical students. Medical records, heart ultrasound, chest x-ray. Everything you need is here. God pushed a stack of information to Adam with his right hand and looked at Adam. "The only question now is, Dr. Duncan, are you willing to perform surgery on me? As long as you want, I have no problem. Adam nodded. Oh, why? God's right hand asked curiously. Aren't you afraid of shouldering historical responsibility? I'm not afraid. Adam shook his head and smiled. You are one of the founders of modern surgery. You have struggled all your life and created so many successful surgical procedures for modern surgery, which have benefited countless patients and saved their lives. As a junior in the medical field, I will not watch you like this, ending up in a situation where no one is willing to perform surgery on you. That would be too ironic. Besides, the success rate of this operation may be very low, but it is not completely without chance. Once I succeed, I will be the doctor who saved God's right hand. And even if this operation fails, I am confident that this will not be my most important contribution to the medical field and medical history, nor will it be the final word on my life's achievements. Medical students who will enter the medical field in the future will not only stare at me for killing God's right hand, but will be warned that no matter how strong a doctor is, there will be times of failure. We are just doctors, not God. Just do our best. Dr. Burke was listening and said with a wry smile, let me do it. Adam is right. We shouldn't let a senior like you end up in a situation where no one is willing to perform surgery on you. Thank you for your kindness. God's right hand glanced at Dr. Burke and smiled. But I have decided that Dr. Duncan will help me with this operation. Walter, the chief of surgery, couldn't help but interrupt. Adam's ability is indeed no problem, but let Dr. Burke be the main surgeon and Adam be his assistant. This will be safer. No. God's right hand shook his head and said, let Dr. Duncan be the main surgeon. Richard, it's not that there are no doctors willing to perform surgery on me. Ted Ginsburg and Greg House, they are just like Dr. Duncan. They are not afraid that I will die on their operating tables and bear any historical responsibility. But I don't like these two bastards. Not at all. I'm not here to embarrass you. At this point, God's right hand sighed and looked at the chief of surgery. The most important reason is that I need a friend. In case I go into the operating room and can't get out, I hope it will be my old friend who says goodbye to me. I should have gotten married and had a bunch of kids, so I wouldn't have to drag you along to see me off to the end. It's an honor. Upon hearing this, the chief of surgery stretched out his hand and placed it on God's right hand. He was not only a student of God's right hand, but also his disciple. God's right hand was his master. He was both a teacher and a father. An old father faced life and death, and in the last moments of his life, he naturally wanted his family to accompany him. I know you won't refuse me. God's right hand stretched out his hand and patted the chief of surgery, his most admired disciple, and said with a smile, originally, my biggest expectation was to have you accompany me and perform surgery together, but now I find that I can expect more. At this point, he looked at Adam. So I hope Weber will be my assistant, and Dr. Duncan, you will be the main surgeon. Let God decide whether the honor of God's right hand should be passed to Adam's hand now. You are God's right hand forever, Adam said with a smile. Haha. God's right hand couldn't help but laugh even more happily. Okay, with your talent and ability, you really don't need to inherit the false name of God's right hand. Adam's hand may be what mankind needs most, but I still hope that our two hands, one old and one young, can leave a legendary and interesting story in the medical community, inspiring those who are interested in medicine to join in. Isn't that very interesting? After a few people talked and laughed for a while, Adam proposed to do a re-examination, although he didn't care about failure. But why fail if you can avoid it? Although Dr. House next door is a jerk, some of his behaviors are quite appropriate at this moment. That is, everyone will lie, so don't trust anyone. So although the information brought by God's right hand is very comprehensive and Adam has read it carefully, he still wants to do a comprehensive examination again. God knows if the information in it is wrong. God's right hand doesn't lack this little examination fee. Another comprehensive examination will not only keep the condition up to date, but also minimize possible human errors. This time, Adam and the director of surgery personally took God's right hand to do various examinations. While doing the examination, he communicated with God's right hand about a surgical plan. God's right hand is worthy of being God's right hand. His level is the pinnacle. If the doctor is not unable to treat himself, Adam believes that if he performs this operation himself, the success rate will be greatly improved. Adam likes this kind of communication the most. Chapter 847 I am the surgeon in charge and I have the final say. Medical center. Outside the operating room. Adam, can we chant? After the chief surgeon sent the right hand of God in, he walked to Adam's side. Talk about surgery. Fine. Adam smiled. Forget about other things. The chief surgeon paused, and returned to his normal state from his arms akimbo. He whispered, Adam, I just want to tell you a story. 28 years ago, I was an intern. Excuse me. Adam interrupted, Chief, you mean to say that an African-American intern tried hard to become a surgeon, but in that era, he had no chance and no one appreciated him. It was Dr. Walter Tapery who selflessly broke the invisible ceiling, gave you this opportunity, and patiently guided you. Without him, you wouldn't be where you are today. Is that right? Yes, the chief surgeon nodded. This story is very contagious. Adam smiled and said, we all hope that there will be more of the two protagonists in this story, but what do you want to do by telling me this story now? To make me pay more attention, or to make me feel more pressured? If it's the latter, it's not a good idea. If it's the former, don't you feel my importance, or do you want me to be so concerned that I'm trembling with fear? I just want. The chief surgeon was silent for a moment. Okay, you are the chief surgeon. You have the final say. Thank you. Adam smiled and nodded, then looked at the short man. Melendez, go find Dr. Burke and see if he is free to come and participate in the operation. Yes. The short man responded and left. The chief surgeon couldn't help but smile. This is what he wanted to say the most. Adam could only shake his head secretly. It really makes sense not to let the patient's family participate in the operation. Even someone like the chief surgeon can't help but worry about gains and losses, and his excessive concern makes people speechless. Not to mention other people. Operating room. Dr. Burke came as a backup to comfort the chief surgeon. Scalpel. Adam stood in the position of the main surgeon and reached out for the scalpel. Be careful. Don't mess it up. The chief surgeon standing in the first assistant position opposite couldn't help but say something when he saw Adam being so casual. Dr. Burke. Adam paused with the scalpel in his hand and turned to look at Dr. Burke beside him. You will be the first assistant. Dr. Weber will be the second assistant. What? The chief surgeon was stunned. Walter asked me to be the first assistant. I am the main surgeon. Adam glanced at him and said in a tough manner, my decision is the final decision. This is the patient's choice. Dr. Weber, please execute it immediately. You don't want me to accidentally mess it up, do you? Richard. Dr. Burke had already walked over and reminded, you care too much, and it has already had a negative impact on the operation. Listen to Adam. None of us has a more stable mentality than him. The chief surgeon looked at Dr. Burke and then at Adam. Although he was not happy, he had to give up his position. Dr. Weber, I'm going to operate. Please don't question any of my decisions afterwards. Adam held a scalpel and solemnly reminded the chief surgeon who stood beside him, if you can't do it, please tell me in advance and I'll let Melendez do it for you. Let him do it. The chief surgeon hesitated again and again, but he rationally gave up his position, retreated to the third line, and held his mentor's hand. He figured it out. Worrying too much will make him confused. He should just be a pure disciple and family member. This is all his mentor wanted him to do. Let's get started. Adam smiled when he saw this, and pointed the scalpel at the chest of God's right hand on the operating table, and made a silky stroke. The chief surgeon's mouth twitched uncontrollably at the ease and casualness. No wonder no one is willing to operate on him except Greg House, Ted Ginsburg, and me. Adam shook his head and said, this situation is more serious than expected. Dr. Burke was completely relieved. If he were to do it, he really couldn't do it. If he was the surgeon, when he cut open the chest and saw the mess inside, he would immediately stop the operation without hesitation and suture it again. The slim chance of success made him dare not operate. Perhaps only famous madman legends in the medical field, such as Greg House and Ted Ginsburg, dare to ignore this kind of pressure, because they often do this kind of thing, which is much crazier and more stressful than this. What the hell? Of course they don't care. Now it seems that Adam Duncan will be added. I don't know if Adam has a good mentality or he also has the crazy genes of Greg House and Ted Ginsburg. At this moment, countless thoughts flashed through Dr. Burke's mind. Adam ignored the chief surgeon's entanglement and Dr. Burke's relief. After the operation began, he was fully focused. The movements should be cool, but the cautious places must be cautious. In this way, the operation reached the second half while the chief surgeon's mouth opened and closed silently. There is a new rupture. Reprocess the bypass, Adam directed. Melendez, loosen the clamps on the aorta and the great artery. Dr. Burke, please clean this up. There is a large area of rupture at the left atrium where the thrombus has grown. Misenberg surgical scissors. As expected, a series of instructions came out of Adam's mouth. The chief surgeon pursed his lips. His expression was extremely serious. This time, he really didn't dare to speak, because if Adam was distracted, his mentor would really die on the operating table. Now he could only hope that Adam's hands were fast and accurate enough to repair the ruptured wound in time and accurately and stop the leakage. Adam's eyes were focused, steady as a mountain, and his movements were fast. Okay, the repair technique worked. There is no leakage. After Adam stopped, he looked and observed for a while, and then he told the chief surgeon the news that surprised him. A wonderful repair technique. The chief surgeon's old face was almost smiling. It seems that God does not want his right hand to return too soon. Adam smiled and said, he still has hope for mankind. The operation was successfully completed. Afterwards, the chief surgeon returned to his office and slumped in his chair, holding his chest. There was nothing he could do. The various thrills during the operation were too exciting for his heart. Half an hour later, in the ward, well done. God's right hand opened his eyes and saw the little man in front of him. It seems that Adam's hand, the miracle doctor, is really worthy of his reputation. Dr. Duncan is the best. The little man smiled and said, he will not let you down. Are you his intern? God's right hand smiled and said, seeing you, I feel like I saw Weber when he was young. I'll inform the director right away. The little man smiled and did not respond. Although the chief surgeon is good, he is not a legend after all, and it is not his goal. Chapter 848 Green Falls. 2 weeks later, God's right hand was discharged from the hospital. Adam's reputation spread more widely in the medical community. As a first-year resident, his level was considered to be higher than that of famous doctors, comparable to the masters of the area, and the first person below the legend. With the relationship of God's right hand, the medical community was also happy to praise Adam, who created a miracle. It was really a situation of flowers blooming and oil boiling in a blazing fire. But Adam didn't care too much. He didn't go around throwing knives or giving speeches or holding meetings to show off. He continued to live a small life of curing diseases, saving lives and prolonging life. Owen Shaw was also discharged from the hospital. He and Bald Dyke's little sister Heidi came to pick him up and said they would take him directly to England. Kitten, Silver Willow. Before Heidi left, it was as if Bernadette had taken over. She treated Adam like Leonard and kept mocking at him with unfriendly words. Her eyes were full of provocations. Are you angry? If you are angry, refute it with actions. Adam turned a blind eye and turned a deaf ear. He is not what she said, and he doesn't need a little brat like her to prove it. Heidi. Owen couldn't listen any longer, and shouted at his sister, apologize to Dr. Duncan. Am I wrong? Heidi raised her eyebrows and said, besides, you are a loser who almost died of laughter for a woman. What qualifications do you have to say that to me? Don't forget, I came here to take you away, not you to take me away. Owen's face turned black with anger. It doesn't matter. Adam comforted, I won't argue with her. Owen, have a good trip. I still have things to do. After saying that, he smiled at Owen and turned away. Although Owen seemed to be grateful to him, but he didn't need this kind of gratitude, because Owen's family is simply a typical troublemaker. Owen is going there now, following the same path of the family, and he will definitely be a troublemaker in the future. The gratitude of a troublemaker also has a certain taste. Tonight is Emma's first birthday party. Adam thought about this and walked to Green Clinic. Dong dong dong. Leonard, have you bought a gift? After Adam knocked on the door and went in, he smiled at Leonard, who was sitting behind the desk with his phone in his hand. If not, you can hurry up and buy it now. I will drive you there directly when you get off work in the evening. I have bought it. We can go there directly then. Leonard looked up and smiled, then looked at the phone with a worried look on his face. Are you still unhappy about Jill? Seeing this, Adam did not leave directly, but sat down. It's normal to break up in a relationship. Before, Leonard was worried that Jill cared too much about the boyfriend from the senator's family and would get hurt later. Last week, Jill's boyfriend Warner Huntington took the LSAT, law school admission test, and graduated early. He will apply to Harvard Law School later. During this period, he will go to study and work for a period of time to add a few more points to his resume. His grandmother flew from New York to Los Angeles on purpose. Encouraged by her best friends, Jill thought that Warner was going to propose to her before leaving school. His grandmother flew here on purpose to give him a 6-carat ancestral diamond ring. So, she dressed up beautifully and went to the date. Who would have thought that it was not a proposal, but a breakup? The reason was very simple. His brother had recently got engaged to the daughter of another old family, and this daughter was also a top student at Yale Law School like his brother. It was too well matched. He was also a member of the Huntington family and also carried the expectations and pressure of the Huntington family. They had a lot of fun before, but if he wanted to become a senator before the age of 30, he had to be serious and not play around anymore. He didn't ask for a wife who was as well matched as his brother, but he couldn't be too mismatched and find a woman who would not benefit his career at all. He needed to marry a socialite, not a movie star who only knew how to dress up and buy things. Jill was heartbroken. This week, she lay in bed, eating high-calorie junk food, watching soap operas, and not dressing up. What scared her besties the most was that she didn't even want to go out for a manicure. This was simply the end of the world. So much so that her best friends who had always stood by her side took the initiative to call Leonard and his family, hoping that their family members would persuade her. If they didn't persuade her, who knows what unspeakable tragedy would happen. I can't get through to her, Leonard said worriedly. I've said before that those who play with the law have a dirty heart. That bastard hasn't even started playing with the law, but he's already so dirty. I wholeheartedly agree that such a guy should break up with my Jill. I can understand that she will be sad for a while after the breakup, so I didn't fly over to find her. But today is little Emma's first birthday party. I told her long ago that she must come to attend, and she agreed. Alas, now you can't contact me. She's probably on the plane. Adam comforted. She should be here by now. No. Leonard shook his head. I bought her plane ticket, and it's still more than 4 hours before takeoff. Maybe she's dressing up? Adam thought for a moment. You know, girls are very particular about going out. It takes most of the day to change clothes, do a hairstyle, and get a manicure. Maybe she didn't hear the phone ring. Then I'll call again. Leonard thought so too, and called Jill again. No one answered. Call her best friends Margot and Selena. Adam took the phone and dialed it under Leonard's strange eyes. They always harass me, Adam explained, and the phone was immediately connected. After a few words, he hung up the phone, let Jill call her father back. They just took Jill to do a manicure? Adam smiled. Is that so? Leonard couldn't help but smile. After a while, Leonard's phone rang. It's Jill. Leonard smiled when he saw it. After answering the call, he spoke to Jill on the other end with a stern face. Jill's pleasant laughter came from the other end of the phone. The old father Leonard couldn't hold it anymore, and smiled and chatted with his little daughter who had cheered up again. Adam listened to a few words and got up to leave. What? At this moment, Leonard's voice changed and his face was shocked. What made Adam's face change was that Leonard reached out and covered his heart. His face was very bad, his body was shaking, and he had difficulty breathing. The phone in his hand fell directly and the whole person fell backwards. Adam entered bullet time directly, ran over quickly, and caught Leonard to prevent him from suffering a brain injury. Heart attack, blue alert. Adam saw Leonard's condition at a glance, carried him out, put him on the gurney in the corridor, and shouted to the nurse who heard the noise while giving first aid. Bring Dr. Green's cell phone that he dropped in the office. Call Rachel, Amy, and Jill and notify them to come over. Call Dr. Burke. While rescuing him, Adam cursed in his heart. Damn Jill. Chapter 849. The Green family's black-hearted little cotton jacket. Medical center. Adam and Dr. Burke entered the operating room to rescue Leonard. Outside, the nurse followed Adam's instructions and called the Green daughters. The culprit, the third daughter Jill, did not have her manicure done and flew directly from Los Angeles to New York. The second daughter Amy was traveling abroad and said she would come back as soon as possible. As for the eldest daughter Rachel, who was in New York, it was hard to say. What? My dad had a heart attack? Rachel was panicking on the other end of the phone. After hearing the nurse say that Adam was at the scene and had sent Leonard to the operating room for rescue, she breathed a sigh of relief and asked this question with the nurse's forehead full of pound marks. How long will the operation take? I don't know. The nurse told the truth. At least a few hours, right? Rachel was very persistent on the other end of the phone. I remember that my father used to have this kind of operation for several hours, more than 10 hours. Aren't you coming as soon as possible? The nurse could only kindly remind her. Well, I will, Rachel said vaguely. 8 hours later. Why is it you? Where's Rachel? Jill, who had traveled thousands of kilometers from the west coast of the United States to New York, was surprised to see Ross waiting there. Hi, Jill. Ross smiled awkwardly. When Jill was punished by Leonard and her credit card was blocked and thrown to Rachel, asking her to learn from his most promising eldest daughter, Jill almost learned from Ross. If it weren't for Rachel's strong opposition, Ross, who had no moral integrity like Rachel's ex-fiancé Barry, really wouldn't mind having a romantic relationship with his ex-girlfriend's sister in front of his ex-girlfriend, even if Rachel stopped him urgently in the end. But some intimate actions can't be erased. Ross didn't feel anything at the beginning. After all, at that time, he could even do it to Chandler's ex-girlfriend who was deeply involved, Janice, who no one could stand. But now he has officially married Rachel and has a daughter. When facing his daughters and alone again, thinking of the intimacy and ambiguity in the past, he couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Rachel, she'll be here soon. Ross was even more embarrassed when he said this. What? Jill was stunned for a moment, then angrily said, You mean it's been more than 8 hours and she hasn't come yet? What is she doing? Is she getting her hair done or her nails done? It can't be that Barney's, a fashionable New York boutique, is having a big discount today. It really is. Just then, with a new hairstyle, shiny nails, and a new outfit, Rachel came over in high spirits, pushing a stroller with many paper bags hanging on it. Impossible. Jill's eyes widened. Why would Barney's suddenly have a big discount today? You don't believe it? Look at this. This. Rachel patted the paper bags. I usually don't want to buy them, but I'm making a profit today. A huge profit. How long will the promotion last? Jill raised her hand to check the time. It's too late. Rachel smiled proudly. All the good stuff has been snapped up. Otherwise, why do you think I would come here now? Ross looked at the Green sisters who were so crazy that they almost made Leonard, their old father, vomit blood. He could only stare in amazement. Your father is still in surgery, and his life or death is uncertain. Is this really okay? Ahem. Did you forget something? Ross could only cough a few times and reminded with a fake smile. Forgot what? Rachel was stunned, and suddenly slapped her forehead and shouted, If you didn't say it, I would have forgotten. Today is Emma's first birthday. They should give her another discount. Ross looked at his daughter Emma, who was dressed up by her mother like a little angel, and thought of his old father-in-law who was in surgery. He could only look at his daughter pitifully and pray in his heart. Daughter is Dad's little cotton-padded jacket. Emma, don't learn from your mother when you grow up. Don't learn from your mother when you grow up. Don't learn from your mother when you grow up. Ross realized in advance that there is a little cotton-padded jacket with black cotton. Little Emma, who was lying in the stroller, couldn't help laughing at her father's funny look. Rose was immediately melted by this smile, holding her chest, deeply moved, thinking, forget it. Black-hearted cotton is black-hearted cotton. Black-hearted cotton is also my little cotton-padded jacket. The Green couple were talking enthusiastically about topics such as fashion discounts and making a lot of money. Rose was standing by, and after watching the Green couple for a while, her heart felt cold. But when she turned around and looked at the cute smiling face of her own cute baby, Her heart felt warm again. After a big cycle of alternating cold and hot, the door of the operating room opened and Adam walked out. "Adam, how is my dad?" The black-hearted sisters realized the purpose of their visit at this time and asked anxiously. "The operation went well. Leonard is fine." Adam smiled and said, "You can go to see him in a while." "Huh, that's good." Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. "Hey, Adam, why did my dad have a sudden heart attack?" Rachel suddenly remembered something. "Then you have to ask Jill." Adam looked at the third child. "Jill, ask me?" Jill was stunned and said innocently, "What does this have to do with me? What did you say to Leonard before he had a heart attack?" Adam was speechless. "Jill?" Exclamation mark. Rachel was immediately angry. "So it was you who pissed off Dad. Just now, you were the first to complain that I was late for shopping at Barney's." "You're too much." "It wasn't me," Jill retorted. "I had a good talk with Dad at the time. I said I was going to Harvard Law School." "What?" "Too." Rachel and Ross both cried out in astonishment. "I said I was going to Harvard Law School, and then Dad was just like you, and then there was nothing else," Jill said puzzled. "You were going to Harvard Law School?" Ross was shocked. "Yes," Jill said as a matter of course. "Warner doesn't like vases. Since he is going to Harvard Law School, I will go too. When he sees me at Harvard, he will definitely fall in love with me again." "You, Jill Sansagreen, are you going to Harvard Law School?" Rachel asked word by word. "Yes." Jill looked at Rachel puzzledly. "Any questions?" "Now I know why Dad had a heart attack." Rachel covered her chest with an incredible look on her face. "This joke is too big. Even I feel a little too excited when I hear it." "Wait." Jill finally understood a little bit at this time, and said in surprise, "You mean Dad had a heart attack because he was too shocked by my plan?" Rachel and Ross nodded repeatedly. Adam couldn't help grinning, but he remembered that he had told Leonard a few weeks ago that if Gil's boyfriend broke up with her, maybe she would have a gorgeous turn and would be the pride of the Green family in the future. At that time, Leonard laughed out loud, with an expression that he couldn't imagine. Unexpectedly, it really came true. Chapter 850 Jill's Struggle. Medical Center. Outside the operating room, Adam and others heard Gil's bold words. "Jill Sansagreen is going to Harvard Law School. Dad doesn't believe me." Jill finally reacted, and then dissatisfaction appeared on her face. "Come on, Jill, that's Harvard Law School." Brother-in-law Ross couldn't help laughing and said, "Even for me, it was a bit difficult to take the exam back then." "That's you." Jill glanced at Ross. "Everyone knows that your so-called genius since childhood is all water." "I'm a doctor," Ross said angrily. "Archaeology," Jill complained, "and this is a hospital. Don't call yourself a doctor casually. This word really symbolizes something here. Don't use it casually." Ross's face was completely black. The embarrassment and complexity brought by the previous ambiguity completely disappeared at this moment. "This sister-in-law is so annoying." "Jill, you..." Rachel calmed down and complained, "Don't even mention Harvard Law School. I can't accept the word law school associated with you. You're too whimsical." "Warner can do it. Why can't I?" Jill retorted. "Do you know the requirements for Harvard Law School?" Adam couldn't help but remind him. Although Harvard Law School has always been the second in the American legal world, it has always been suppressed by Yale Law School. The number of students admitted each year is based on the business route of power in numbers and is ready to overthrow Yale Law School, unlike the top-ranked Yale Law School, which takes the elite small class route and only admits about 20 students per class. But no matter how power in numbers it is relative to Yale, the number of students admitted each year is only about 150. This is global enrollment. You can imagine how high the threshold is. Jill, an undergraduate student who is about to graduate from the fashion purchasing major at the University of Los Angeles, said so arrogantly that she wanted to join the Harvard Old Rogue gang. Is this appropriate? Anyone who knows something about this would think it's too far-fetched. How could Leonard not feel too excited when he heard the news? Not to mention that he knew the reason his daughter was so excited, and he didn't know how people would laugh at her if she told others about it, was because she wanted to pursue that jerk. He didn't know whether he should be angry at his little daughter for being too ambitious or too unsuccessful. The double stimulation gave him a heart attack. Why do everyone ask the same question? Of course I know it. Jill was surprised and smiled at Adam. I need a high recommendation from the professor, an excellent admissions essay, and at least 175 points on the law school entrance exam, a full score of 180. Ross couldn't help it anymore. The total SAT score is 1,600, and you scored 1,250. Even if you lied about 1,400, your LSAT score would only be 157.5. Jill stared at Ross. So what do you want to say? I don't want to say anything, Ross complained. Love makes people blind. Have you really decided? Adam didn't know what to say. He thought, she will ask me for a letter of recommendation later. How should I write it? Celebrity recommendation letters, especially those of Adam, are still a bit important for Harvard Law School, which is taking the route of expanding enrollment. But at the same time, if the person recommended is too outrageous, it will be criticized once it is spread out. But Jill is Leonard's youngest daughter. If she really wants him to write a letter of recommendation, Adam will not refuse it because Leonard helped him wholeheartedly. Yeah, Jill was excited and confident. I've decided. What Warner needs is a serious woman who can help him. And I can do it too. It's indeed difficult to get a score of 175 or above on the LSAT, but it's not insurmountable. The LSAT can be taken 4 times a year, in February, June, October, and December. Warner will enter Harvard Law School next fall. I have 3 chances in December this year, February and June next year. I believe I can definitely get a score of 175 or above. You know, I'm the president of the Triangle Girls Association at the University of Los Angeles, and a genius in fashion purchasing at the University of Los Angeles. It seems that you have done your homework. Seeing Jill like this, Adam believed that she was not joking, and couldn't help laughing. Not mentioning her purpose caused Leonard to have a heart attack. It's always a good thing to be willing to make progress. Maybe in the process of struggling, she will work hard and forget about that bitch ex-boyfriend. This kind of thing is not uncommon. There are many people who study hard to pursue their girlfriends, but finally find that studying is much more fun than their girlfriends, and forget about their girlfriends. Maybe Jill will really be the light of the Green family. Of course, Jill said proudly, I have not only started preparing for the LSAT exam, but also got a higher recommendation letter from the professor. I have also prepared the video essay for applying to Harvard Law School. Do you want to see it? Wait until Leonard wakes up, and we will watch it together. Adam smiled, but then he thought of something and changed his words. But I am looking forward to your wonderful performance. Can I see it first? God knows what's wrong with Jill's admission essay. It's better to check it first, so as not to make Leonard angry again. I was looking forward to giving some advice to a top student from a prestigious school like you, Jill said happily. He is a Columbia student, and so am I. Ross has a bad temper, but he still can't help but interrupt. You and Adam are both men. What's the comparison? Jill said in surprise. Ross's face was completely black, as if he deliberately tanned and showed a mouthful of white teeth. He never knew his sister-in-law was so venomous. Maybe she can really become a lawyer. Ross had this strange thought in his mind. Adam took them to Leonard's office and opened Jill's admission essay videotape. Everyone was speechless after watching it. In the videotape, Jill was wearing a bikini, in the swimming pool, with her hands open, looking at the camera, and said confidently, I am Jill Green. I will tell you Harvard students why I will become an excellent lawyer. Ross's eyes were wide open, staring at the videotape blankly, with only one thought in his mind. I haven't seen Jill for a few years. Jill has really grown up. This change is too big. That pig-like look made Rachel so angry that she did an extreme twister. Adam laughed dumbly. Jill's routine was too obvious. However, after taking a glance at a professor of paleontology at New York University, Adam felt that although this routine was old-fashioned, it couldn't help but that the people who watched and scored this videotape were also some old professors. If everyone is like a certain professor at New York University, Jill would be admitted as long as she gets 175 points on the LSAT, no matter how funny her major in fashion purchasing is and how incompatible it is with the seriousness of law school. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, Every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.